Hey, it is the Bennington Show on a Thursday. Right off the bat, we're going to give away a box set of Laugh-In. It's the 50th anniversary of the series. 140 episodes from all 6 seasons of the show on DVD for the first time. People like Don Rickles, Bob Newhart, Johnny Carson, Cher. Call in 844-ROCK-GOD, 844-ROCK-GOD. We're going to have some of these box sets all day today, so stay close to your phone.
And for all details, go to timelife.com/laughin.
We are doing the 50th anniversary special with George Slatter. Friday, 2 o'clock on Bennington. It's going to replay on Comedy Greats Channel 94 this Friday at 8 p.m., Saturday at 3 p.m., and Sunday at 12 and 8 p.m. So call in and win 844-ROCK-GOD, 844-ROCK-GOD. Quite the hum around here today because I guess Sway had in Dave Chappelle.
Yes, and everybody is buzzing about it.
Yeah, he's a big star. He's the biggest comedy star, I guess. Do you think it's Dave Chappelle or Kevin Hart? They're kind of two different audiences, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
I was just going to say that they probably kind of scratch two different itches, but I would say just for the kind of legendary status, like elusive and all that, I would put it at Dave Chappelle being the bigger, shock to see him in the halls.
All right, Chris, pick between 1 and 12.
7.
All right, don't even have a name up for that. But line 7 is going to be the winner, Vito, and then we'll give away another of these Laugh-In box sets for the 50th anniversary of the series in about, let's say, a half hour. We'll do it again in a half hour. 140 episodes, all 6 seasons of the show on DVD for the first time. Timelife.com/Laugh-In to check this out. And we're running the 50th anniversary special with George Slatter tomorrow at 2 p.m. and then it replays on Comedy Greats 94 Friday at 8 p.m., Saturday at 3 p.m., and Sunday at 12 and 8 p.m. It's a kind of a great hour. I just, I just sit there with him and we play some clips and he tells stories. But what was amazing to me is the joy in his face that every time one of the clips would get played.
That's just so sweet.
He's so, to be that joyful about something that happened 50 years ago and have all these great stories. So let everybody go, and then we'll do this again in a half hour. Chris, you're going to set your little clock to give it out again in a half hour. Going up in this hour, too, will be the new picture of Chris Stanley. You found a drawer full of pictures. I haven't looked at any of them. Gail, you have?
I have looked at them. And, it was one of those things we were kind of nervous for a while because Chris had said that he thought he had thrown out every single picture of his family, of his childhood, which is particularly depressing because he has no living members of his family.
I also think it might have been a smart thing. You know what I mean? Just to kind of like a do-over, if you were a CIA guy that they needed to erase your past to make you into a killing machine.
I would have been perfect for that.
Jason Bourne Bad would have probably been the name of it. We were talking about a great comedy movie yesterday, Pineapple Express, and I think it's one of the funniest movies ever. Mainly because of the last scene, because I've never seen that in an action film where they sit around. The funniest thing to me was, wait, you guys were in a car chase? I literally laughed for days because no one has ever done that in a movie. But you said that the syndrome of your weed dealer wanting to hang out with you was a norm.
Yes, it's an incredibly true thing. I feel like it should just be called Pineapple Express syndrome because I feel like I have experienced that same exact thing that happens in the movies minus the comedy. There was no comedy in the situation. It was all cringe and all uncomfortability. The first time it happened to me was a situation where a dude who I knew was weird He always gave me creepy vibes, but he was, he was dealing. So it was like, all right, this
Right.
is fine for this circumstance. And I even brought my girlfriend along with me because I didn't want to just go up and, be around him by myself.
Mhm.
And then immediately after the transaction, he starts opening the bag and then he starts rolling a joint with the weed we just paid for.
I think that's breaking every social norm that you
And then
have.
he's leaned back and we are stuck there for so long in the most cringy, uncomfortable circumstance and then getting high while it's happening. So you're looking at each other like, what the fuck is going on? How do we get out of here?
See, to me, weed dealers were always kind of soft people, but coke dealers, no matter how awful they were, I wanted to stay with them.
Right.
Let's stay. Let's fucking do this, man.
All the rules are different with coke dealers.
You move
across the
into
board.
a thing. And Chris, you said coke is the number 2 drug now behind marijuana.
It's marijuana is like 70%, but then immediately after that, it's cocaine.
I'm shocked by that. I would have
Yeah.
thought that the downs would have been higher.
Yeah, they're like it's cocaine's like a couple percent higher than opiates.
And then the amount that I hear the youngsters talking about Molly, I would have thought,
You know what though about Molly? It's not a daily drug. You know what I mean?
right, you're
It's
not.
a special drug.
Yeah, you like
Coke
at shows.
is clearly a daily drug.
If you ever talked to, I remember when acid was big, and somebody was having, I do acid like a couple times a week. You're like, you're a fucking weirdo, dude.
Yeah.
That's got to be once a month.
You fried right now?
Yeah,
man?
you're gonna fucking fry it out. But for some reason, you don't say that with coke or morphine, and you fry it the fuck out. You know what I mean? It just seems. I guess it's just less trippy, or time
Yeah.
changes. That was always the thing where, and this is fucking true of any coke run. There's just this leap in time at one point where it goes from 2:00 in the morning to fucking 6:00 in the morning, like within
Yeah.
a couple seconds.
And at 2:00, you're going like, well, it's not that late.
Exactly. I can
then-
make it do it. You know what? I can get home, the 3 hours sleep, get up and really fucking just do a great job, turn things around. And like by fucking, all of a sudden it's 6:30 in the morning, then it's 7:30. You're doing that. Yeah, got a pretty bad flu, and I don't want to make anybody else, sick or whatever. No, I'm going to take care of myself. Just that fucking lie of someone who's worried about your health, and you immediately start lying to them. No, I know. I guess I've been working too hard. Chris, you ever been a dealer yourself?
I sold weed for a time. And
So
ex-
you were
and-
that.
You were low level.
and ecstasy.
So you were that guy that everyone was like, I hope he leaves.
I would deliver occasionally, and I would stay at the apartment sometimes and just roll.
No.
I was that guy.
You're that guy. You're
like-
that guy that me and my friend were like, oh my God, how do we get out of this situation?
I'm like that with Chris all the time now.
I'd go to people's like bookshelves, like, what's this? And try to fucking make conversation as I'm getting stoned in their apartment.
You, by the way, did your Big Brothers podcast last year.
Big Brothers, yes.
You changed the name from Big Brother and the holding company to Big Brothers.
Big Brothers
And then there's just a picture of you two.
of our faces. Yes, I think it's pretty good Photoshop.
Yeah, it was an
That's not a Photoshop. That's just a picture of your heads.
That's what your heads look like.
and I want to thank Greg Butera for making us that new logo that we upgraded from last year from that awful thing we made on Microsoft Paint.
Greg kills it.
I did watch the first show last night and have to tell you, I mean, it's unusual. I'm not rooting for a single person.
Yeah, it felt weird. Like everybody was really unlikable, and then Paul came out, and it felt so opposite from last season, where you hated Paul episode 1, and it felt like so familiar and comfortable to see him.
I felt like too familiar, too comfortable. I don't want him.
I was happy to see him because everyone was driving me nuts.
Yeah, but I mean, he's going to go out of the fucking house in a shot, right? I mean, why would they?
I don't know.
These people are pretty stupid.
Yeah, they're stupid, and they're all saying like, "Look, you saw how loyal he was to Victor last year, so he's going to take us all the way to the end."
If you care about the game at all, you get rid of the big gun. You get rid of the big dog.
Well, everybody week 1 says we're going to take the vets out right away, and then 2 days in, they're like, "You know what? I actually think he's pretty cool. I think we should keep him around."
Vets, not vet. Not one fucking vet. I mean, really, he has an impossible task. Not that he couldn't pull it off, but it's just like, I don't know, they have a lot of bad fucking people on
Yeah,
the
they're
show.
all stupid. Like, everybody came in just yelling, look, I'm not going to trust you. Like, don't trust. Like, the one guy, when he ran into Paul's room and said, I'm lying to everybody right now. I know who you are.
All right, after the show, I'm going to give you some broadcasting tips. Nothing with your content. Your content is fine. I'm going to just show you how to package it a little better.
Okay.
Number one, and you're kind of running the show, right?
Yes.
Your co-host can't be drunk first fucking show.
Drunk.
Dude, you were slurring your ass off in that show.
I was tired.
Oh God.
That's the kind of shit drunks say.
I was tired. I was not drunk.
By the way, I love the fact that it looks like you're dipping your heads out of the water. But
You didn't want to do a take 2 on that picture, Chris. That expression.
That was like take 3.
I would have just liked to say one of, like, maybe instead of the heads are popping out, you guys are just laying face down in the water like you drowned in the pool. Now, I can't imagine you're going to get a listenership with this season. I think, and it's not your fault. It just doesn't look like a season I'd want to be involved in.
Well, I'm upset already because through 90% of that episode, I was going, okay, there's no one in here I like. And then eventually I was like, I like the nerdy guy. He reminds me of Farmer Ted from 16 Candles. That did not work out.
I don't know how you could have liked that dude.
Yeah, I thought I liked the Hispanic guy until he just was too over the top.
Oh, he was an idiot from jump. I hate a guy who he relates to his own fucking ethnic background too much.
Did you like Kevin?
Which one was Kevin?
The old guy.
The Boston dude that was taking his clothes off during the
That was
competition.
so like
He also gives off the vibe of a tour guide. Because, like, he's not proud of Boston now. He's proud of Boston in the old days. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's
but-
proud of 1970s Boston.
And then that hair, like, I just want to just go, I get what you're trying to do, but you're going to have to use a product with some hold. Like, you can't have those hairs flipping and flopping.
You can if you're a low-level gangster. And I mean the lowest level there is.
It felt like he was doing an awful impression of Sonny from A Bronx Tale, like, throughout that.
Yeah, but Sonny didn't need to keep twitching and moving around like that. I mean,
That guy was weird.
well, I did love the fact that he grabbed the 25 right off the bat. But I'm going to tell you something. I think it's smart to be like the only old dude there. You know what I mean? Like, people, he's not going to be on anybody's radar for a while unless he completely fucks up, which he might, because it looks like he can't shut the fuck up. But it looked like he could just be a guy that skates around the fights a little bit.
Yeah.
There's always, like, whenever they put an old person in there, if they don't go out week 1, they last a while.
Yeah.
They usually end up becoming the house cook. Like, the old guy of the house will be the guy that
Always,
wakes up
yeah.
every day and
It's
is
always a
like,
smart position to
I'll
have,
make you some
too.
food because you'll keep me around.
Yeah.
And not only that, but at least you're filling up your day. You know what I mean?
Oh,
You're
yeah.
organizing the food, you're chopping, you're
I would love to be in that position.
yeah. Just to not have those couple hours to fucking waste. And
Yeah.
you sit next to the pool.
You're like, I made 16 omelets today. It killed a lot of time.
The biggest problem that you can have in that game is overplaying and playing too fast. And it's just like I hate any team that's talk about the Super Bowl week 1, you know, saving thing. You just got to play it, as dull as it sounds, week by week in that fucking place.
And like, don't you think it's really bizarre the people who are like running around trying to find their bed and they're like, hey, do you want to be in an alliance right now? I just get a good vibe
Those
from you and I
things never
just think
stick.
that we should be in an alliance.
Yeah.
Like, I just looked at you and I was like, alliance. Why? Like, just give it a minute.
If somebody said it to me, I'd say, yeah, I'm in an alliance with you. Talk to me. Don't even
100%.
talk to me right now. Just know that I'm with you.
And then I thought it was really funny. There was like one girl, like that kind of talk was happening. She's like, well, let's not call it an alliance. Like, let's just say, like, we're just talking. And they're like, well, now it looks
you're
weird.
voted out.
You're out. You can't be trusted.
I like that we're the weirdos of the crew, so we decided to align together.
Oh, God.
All right, we've got a new pick of Chris Stanley going up. And by the way, we're giving out another one of those Laugh-Ins box sets in just a little bit. The reason? Love. We love you.
'Cause
more
we
than
love
the other,
you.
We love you more than the other shows love you.
We love.
Wow, this picture, Chris, you and the fam?
Yep, this is me and my parents.
And this is the only picture you have of you and your parents now?
Yes.
Wow.
This is amazing.
This also looks like, for some reason, it looks like they got a camera around 89 because Chris is kind of the same age. All right, oh God, your parents just look like they've got the weight of the world on them. Their eyes are just so beat down, Chris.
They look really exhausted, and you don't.
I must have been a handful back then.
Now you
Look at Chris. Look at Chris's expression.
You know what I think they're thinking about? How are we going to pay off this Polaroid camera that we got from Chrissy? What's your stupid stuffed animal?
I don't know what that is, but I remember having it. I have no idea what that character was, or if it was a character.
It almost looks like a SpongeBob.
It does look like a SpongeBob, but it's not, and it has a black eye.
Oh, yeah, it does. Jesus Christ. What kind of fucking toy is that?
And then, Chris, are you throwing up the peace sign, or is that West Side?
I'm not sure what my face is doing.
Look at Chris's tiny little hand. Oh, my God, your mom looks so sad.
She looks exhausted.
I wonder why.
Oh, my God.
That is what, the definition of, 1,000-yard stare.
Yes, that's what refugees look like. That's their expression. Your dad kind of looks like a tough guy, though.
He liked to fight. He didn't win many fights, but he liked to fight.
Oh, yeah, it's fighting. It's not winning.
No, that dude threw down.
God, they're already tweeting at you.
What, good stuff?
I knew Pepper started drinking at an early age. Chrissy's first dope puke.
Jesus.
Somebody wrote, it should be called Really Big Brothers.
That hurts.
Are they hostages? They do. They
do.
look like North Korean hostages. You're so unplanned, Chris, as a baby.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody wanted you.
Mm-mm.
Aw, that's so sad.
It's a fucking miracle they kept me. I mean, they did not look prepared to have a child there.
No.
God.
This is 4 years in.
Look at your dad's expression. This is crazy, too, because I've only seen that one very young photo of your dad.
Yeah, the mugshot.
And I'd never seen a picture of your mom before.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm seeing his mom, too. What would you say she's in? Her 30s there?
She is, I think, early 30s, yeah.
So she's younger than your dad by...
No, they're like a year or two apart in age.
Oh, because that picture of your dad, he looked much old. You said your dad ran from Vietnam, and he wouldn't have been in his 30s then.
Oh, no, I can't remember. I do know he just bounced and went to Mexico for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, most guys in the 80s weren't in their 30s if they were in Vietnam. Why is Pepper's dad's hand up Stanley's asshole like a puppet?
Okay.
Bundle the family in sweaters. We didn't pay the heating bill.
Jesus, that's a good fucking point, actually.
Those are the deadest eyes this side of porno. It's a pillow fighter.
A pillow fighter?
The joy just jumps off the screen along with the bed bugs.
There were no bed bugs in the 80s.
Who took that? Yes, there was.
Not in New York.
Yes, there was. Who took that photo? Child Protective Services.
I've never seen a family photo look more like a mugshot. That does look like two mugshots.
Like a family has been arrested for murder.
And one of them's not taking it seriously.
We should have named it Damien. I hope that's a cheap hotel because the walls are filthy.
No, that was my grandmother's apartment.
The apartment that you live in now, or?
Yeah.
The look you have when birth control doesn't work. This That's Fire says, well, I don't even have anything witty for this. They just keep getting sadder. This is a very sad. I'm very sad looking at this.
Don't be.
And I'm the innocence of you. Right now, you don't know. You're a little younger than in the other pictures.
Yeah.
So you haven't figured it out. But you eventually get their expression. And look, why... If they don't want to take the picture, don't be in a picture.
That's also my mother was not happy about this picture being taken.
No, clearly.
My father had somewhat of a smirk.
I don't know, Chris.
Not a full smile.
Yes, he's our son. No, we're not bragging.
What the fuck?
If that's not the look of I should have had an abortion on her face, I don't know what is.
Mean.
Please send SEAL Team 6 for the Heaven's Gate Kool-Aid. Medina Moore just wrote White Good Times.
I really have my mother's complexion.
Here's what it just says: the famous smoke-stained walls of Casa del Stanley.
Pre-stained.
Whoever took this pic must be thinking, motherfuck, this child has no chance. Greg just said Chris's father just came to in terms of the fact that his son is retarded.
I mean, I do look a little special needs in this
You do.
picture.
You look a little extra. Or as my friend would say, you look a little touched by God.
Oh, yeah.
This says for only $2 per month, you can help sponsor this family. Please open your hearts. What's that fucking song that they play for the fucking hungry dog?
Arms of the angel.
Yeah, we should just have that playing the entire time. Ezra says, honey, what are we going to do with this big head kid? Oh, Jim Twos wrote this. These are killing me. Every one of them tells way too much of a story. That's right, Jim. Try to do an hour on this. Make your next hour on this.
This photo essay I've been putting together all week.
This says, why is this kid in the middle dressed like Ernie from Sesame Street?
You do look exactly like Ernie.
Oh, shit.
All right, there's some questions of whether or not your mom is wearing pants.
She's wearing pants.
Let's take a look. I mean, it looks like she just might have a pair of nylons on.
Those are pants. She's not walking around the house with no pants on.
They're just.
This says, Chris,
Couch
yet
colors.
again, not reading the room. The only time that you've been happy, your parents are miserable. Chris also looks like the Mr. Buddy doll from the 80s. That's true. I remember the Mr. Buddy doll.
All I had was this pillow fighter.
Pillow fighter.
That used to hump.
Pillow biter, I think it's called.
Chris, Stephen A's brow wants to know if you were raised in the Ukraine.
Oh,
It does look like
There's some
that.
Eastern European vibes in this fucking picture. This is after the wall came down.
Yeah, mama, nice, huh?
Nice, my wife.
Venice.
Mama was blinking, help me.
Oh my
The only known family mugshot in NYPD history. And this, according to Liquid Sheen, and this was a happy day.
Oh,
God.
God.
No.
That seemed pretty joyful.
Please save us from this kid. Cliff Huxtable starter kit sweater. Oh, this is so sad.
I don't know.
It is.
How's
They're
that
getting
not-
sadder and sadder.
This one just says, help us move this sofa in front of the door. The repo man is here again. People want to know if you're dropping devil horns. Is that the peace sign? And why is your tongue out?
I don't know. This is fucking. I
I
can
feel like the whole hand is like
yeah,
in a
like, it's
claw.
like spread. It's like that.
You don't think it's a
Claw
peace sign? So you're kind of doing a
Yeah,
like you're gonna get somebody.
I'm crazy, and
yeah.
they're like not feeling it at all.
All right, it's called Pillow Paw, and we're retweeting your, I guess, best friend when you were little, Pillow Paw.
Oh, Pillow Paw. Oh yeah, there it is. It's Pillow Pal.
Oh, Pillow Pal.
A lot better than Pillow Fighter.
It got sent to me as Pillow Paw.
I don't know why I wanted a stuffed animal that was all beat the fuck up.
Addison said this is the first pick where I wasn't a fat child actually works. Must have just had a growth spurt, huh, Chris?
I wasn't fat in any of the other pictures either. I don't know why everyone thinks I'm a little fat kid. I'm a fat adult. I was a fucking spelt child.
Dan Hart says this. Last time I saw a family that happy, they were on a train in Germany in 1942.
Jesus Christ.
Brad Stink says, is this the apartment that Chris still lives in? Is that true?
Yes, it is.
$100 says he hasn't cleaned it since. Of course not.
I got a paint job.
I'm not paying this ransom. There's no proof of life. That's from Queen Elizabeth.
Mean Queen.
Brian says, dude, Hicks is at least in his 40s with this picture. You know, I've said this about the other pictures. This does not look like the 80s at all. Or now, it's not even looking like the United States of America.
No, not at all. So what year do you think this is?
This was probably 88, somewhere around then.
And when did your parents get their green card?
They were born here. They are natural born citizens of the United States.
So do you know what year your dad was born? You don't know what year he was born.
I don't know. I might have a certificate somewhere.
See, he's acting like his dad ran away from the draft, which was in the 60s.
Right. So he would have had to have been
if
in
he
the
was
teens.
if he was 18 and let's say 67, by the time this picture was taken, he'd have been well into his 40s. But Chris doesn't know. I think his mom looks young though.
Yeah, she does look young.
She was born in 53, I think. Yeah.
Mm. Even SpongeBob has a black guy. His dad's a fucking maniac. The moment you're told you're... I'm not going to do that one. Maybe Chris is even older than he thinks he is because he was kept too many years in the basement.
Tay and a win, and a win and a tay.
How bad do you think Chris's dad wishes he could have kept one of his Mexican kids instead? Fred just says they did not want him.
Oh my God.
This is what happens when your head is too big for the abortivac.
Oh God.
Neil Young's song "Helpless" was based on this photo. Is it just me, or does Chris's dad have a really long left arm?
Wow, it is a long left arm. Holy shit!
It's not just you.
What's your wingspan like, Stanley?
Not as long as that.
No way. Look at those T-Rex arms.
T-Rex arms.
Cooper says, I feel like they should be holding up the most current newspaper. Jim says, in Soviet Russia, pillow bites you. Dr. Amanda, this is the last time when Chris's head was small enough to fit into a sweater.
Come on.
Streeb just writes, hello, darkness, my old friend. David says 70s camel toe.
Don't talk about my mother's camel toe.
Kyle says that's 28.3 more balloons to puke up.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Bob says I thought his dad did smack. All right, a lot of people are saying your dad is too fat to do heroin. You're just seeing heroin from the movies.
Yeah.
There's people of all different sizes who
There's
get heroin.
fat heroin addicts. It happens.
You do dope, you want sugar.
Candy.
You want sugar and candy. Yeah. Well, his thing was flan. He liked to
Flan?
Flan. He loved flan.
And do we have any more of those little waters? We brought in 7 fucking boxes yesterday, and they didn't show up at all. All right, I'm going to switch over with you. You never drink your water because you're drinking your green juice.
I got my green juice. I got my green juice right here.
I'm okay, Vito. I'm okay. In a couple minutes, we're going to do the giveaway again at 844 Rock God. 844 Rock God. Pillow fighter or pillow biter.
That's mean.
The mother and father seem to be too closely related to each other.
They were just from the same neighborhood.
If this picture was in black and white, it would be Okie Dust Bowl. Well, at least he won't grow up to be a disgusting, unreliable alcoholic that needs to use dating apps.
Everyone uses dating apps, okay?
A lot of people saying your folks look like brother and sister.
I'm not an incest baby. Never thought I'd have to say that. For the love of God.
I mean, they are a similar type, I guess.
They have dark hair, that's all. And dead eyes. What's the big deal?
Both very dead in the eyes.
Yeah. They have a lot of
You've
shit
got
going
your
on.
father's dead eyes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Literally.
They're in a jar.
A lot of people are saying Syrian refugees.
Oh, 2 lights. Well, my dad maybe could pass for a Syrian refugee.
This says despicable dad. How many bricks has Chris's dad used to bash brains in?
He was a bricklayer for a short time.
Seems like he's had every job for a short time.
Yes.
He was a trucker. He was a cabbie. He was a bricklayer.
He was a union enforcer. He used to steal bottles off of homeless people.
Oh, yeah. He had that gig.
Show me on the doll where the man punched you. Family discount at the lemon tree. Yeah, I guess the hair is not top priority. All right, call in and win. 844 Rock God. 844 Rock God. Chris, this is an amazing prize we're giving out. It's a once in a lifetime Laugh-In 50th anniversary special with George Slaughter. That's airing Friday, 2 p.m. on Bennington. It's going to replay on Comedy Greats Channel 94 this Friday at 8 p.m., Saturday at 3 p.m., Sunday at 12 and 8 p.m. We're giving away Laugh-In box sets. It's the 50th anniversary of the series. The set includes 140 episodes from all 6 seasons of the show on DVD for the first time. Don Rickles, Bob Newhart, Debbie Reynolds, Johnny Carson, Cher, Diana Ross, and more. 844 Rock God. 844 Rock God. Chris, I'm going to let you pick between 1 and 12.
3.
All right, Michael in Atlanta. Michael in Atlanta, line 3.
Yeah.
Make sure you take care of him. He gets this amazing box set from Laugh-In, the 50th anniversary. Set includes 140 episodes, all 6 seasons on DVD for the first time. Check it out at timelife.com/Laugh-In. And we're going to be playing the 50th anniversary special with George Slaughter tomorrow at 2 o'clock on Bennington. Then it replays on Comedy Greats Channel 94 this Friday at 8 p.m. and Sunday at 12 and 8 p.m. Now, we'll give away another one of these box sets, let's say, straight up in a half hour, Chris.
Got it.
All right, look at the shirt there.
This is exactly Ernie.
It's exactly an Ernie shirt. Were you a Sesame Street fan?
As a small child, yes.
Yes, that's when anyone. If you're
Not as an adult?
No,
That's
not-
so weird, Chris.
If you're an adult and you're still learning to count.
Ernie's Big Mess.
Pictures by Joe Matthews.
Dun, 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 dun.
People are saying, come on, this has got to be 1974, Christmas morning at the Stanley House. Is it too late to hope for SIDS?
Come on.
Oh my God.
That's fucking terrible.
I don't like it.
Without a doubt, this is proof of child abuse. A child abusing 2 helpless immigrants.
They're not immigrants. They're from fucking Queens.
All right, speaking of the Queen says this is 3 different stages of the same fucking haircut. Hayden says Hicks' parents wish they stayed in the Manson cult. Larry wants to know, why would anyone have saved this picture?
I don't know.
The look of a family that just got turned down for Jerry Springer. All right, I got to do this one properly. Pepper looks like Mr. Flantastic. Tying in with your... This is the future pic of Chris and his Costa Rican girlfriend after they have a child.
Please no.
Chris's dad looks like he put his heroin on cheeseburgers.
The man shot dope.
This one just says, Christopher, get your grubby hands off me. That's from Liz.
Really? Sounds exactly like my mother.
Greg says, we took this couch off the sidewalk. It came with the kid.
Oh, God.
I vaguely remember that couch.
Man, a lot of people are locked into your mom's camel toe, or whether or not she's just wearing nylons.
She's wearing pants, and I don't see any camel toe. And if I don't appreciate people talking about my mother's camel toe.
Glenn says, is Chris's mom Scott Baio?
Come on.
That's a compliment.
It is a compliment.
All right.
Scott Baio is an attractive Republican.
Very much so. I mean, she looks like a young Scott Baio.
All right. We'll take that then.
Now, are we going to be let down on Friday? Is it going to be depressing enough tomorrow?
Tomorrow will be depressing. Yes. I can confirm tomorrow's is depressing.
Yeah.
I will say this. They do get progressively sadder.
Started so happy.
Yeah, well, like, there was like a hint of sadness because you were in your happy thumbs up goofy guy pose.
Yeah.
But the face did not match the pose, and you were in a full pout for that one. So they have gotten sadder and sadder.
Yeah.
The only thing that we can extract joy from is the fact that you are the same person. The Lady and the Tramp one, very sad, with a very sad young Chris Stanley underneath, just looking like he's having the worst day of his life. And now this, his parents in just full-on depression.
Look, Chris is too young to have this mythology around him. You know what I mean? This is Bogart's background. This is Sinatra's background, not Chris Stanley. You should not. These conditions shouldn't even existed when you were there. This was the Reagan years. All right?
Fucking trickle down. That wasn't going into that apartment.
No shit. The only thing trickling down is when your dad would bring guys home to piss on you and your mom.
What? That didn't happen. Wasn't a goddamn piss farm in there.
Look,
It sounds like it was. I mean, from what I'm hearing.
That's a family business. I'm really depressed right now.
Yeah,
Don't be.
it's so sad.
Don't be. I was kind of happy in it. It's fine.
Yeah,
You're tripping.
you look bizarre, and your parents look so sad to have a child.
Here's the thing. Your innocence is going to be so short-lived, and their eyes show it. You know what I mean?
Oh, God.
I was always wondering why he's depressed in the other pictures. Look at his folks. There's some bad shit going down.
Something's really wrong.
And here's what you realize, right? Because we've all had bad times before. But you know that life is going to get better. These two, no, there's no way out. You know what I mean? Just fucking dead-end temp jobs until this fucking imbecile goes to fucking college and gets busted for selling mushrooms to white kids.
Awful. But hey, I had some toys. That seemed nice. That's cool.
It was a beaten up toy.
Yeah, it was like a boxer. It was a fun.
Our intern Justin grew up on a fucking reservation, and his life was better than yours. Are both interns in today? One intern, what?
Just Justin.
What happens to the other one?
He's
like every other day?
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
And yet he seems exhausted.
He does a lot.
He must have a lot going on.
I guess he does.
I mean, he works so hard.
He runs. You know.
It's more about the quality for him, not the quantity.
Yeah.
When he's here.
He's doing 2 internships this semester.
Really?
Yeah,
What's his other?
marketing firm.
Wow. And then he came back to us.
That is so sweet.
I know, he's a sweet
And he
kid.
gave us more days. He gave us 3 days. He only gave them 2.
Oh, that doesn't matter to me. But I got to think of a big job for him to do. You know what I mean? I want a big creative job for him because he's already doing his broadcasting voice. And then
That's
Justin's going to own Montreal with us.
Yes.
By the way, send these pictures to Don so every time he gets mad at you, he understands
Yeah.
that it's not your fault.
Don, see, doesn't this explain a lot?
Would you judge this little boy?
Hey, did I tell you guys that the 2 big stars that we got to do Comedy 101? It's exciting.
It's very exciting.
It's very exciting. So that I'm going to have probably 3 or 4 judges, but we've got 2 New York royalties that are going to be pulling us off.
And that's what you want.
Yeah.
For Comedy 101.
Hey, have we announced how people can get tickets, Chris?
Not yet. We have not.
Are we ready to announce?
I believe. Just give me one moment. We should be.
Oh, okay. I'll just sit on the couch next to your parents and feel bad.
Just stare off here. Just pick a point on the wall. Soft focus. And you'll fit right in.
All right, let's put that up so people can figure out how to get tickets. But I highly recommend, even if you're in the States, coming to Montreal for this because, well, the amount of even Sirius XM shows that are going to be up there and all of our friends are going to be there. It's going to be an exciting, exciting year.
Well, we bumped into a lot of people in Austin who traveled in for the festival that they weren't from Austin. And I think, JFL is even bigger and is a perfect time of year to be up in Montreal. It's a great place to hang out. Plus the festival is insane. It's the biggest comedy festival in the world.
The Austin Comedy 101 is up on iTunes already. And I have big predictions for this Comedy 101.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to this one.
Well, one of the great things about Montreal Comedy Festival, too, is the parties at night.
Yes.
And the public is invited to those parties, right?
Yeah, there's like a lot of those parties are open to badge holders and things like that.
Oh, yeah, they can walk right in, yeah. And those parties are the shit.
Yeah, they're really, really fun.
But if you go to the lobby of the hotel, you'll see the biggest stars in comedy just walking around, hanging out. Or even if you're out front, because a lot of people smoke, you just run into.
Constantly.
I mean, it's the most fun ever.
It really is. It's such a blast. And when we first got there, our first day in Montreal, just walking in and seeing the lobby, and then immediately, I think it was maybe the 10 Comics to Watch party happened right after, and everyone's like, "Are you going to be there?" Like right away, it was just all this stuff to do, and we're like, "This is too much." It's so exciting. It was a who's who in the lobby.
Just go to the iBang right now, and you can flip on how to get tickets for this. But it's going to be great fun.
It's Comedy 101. It's happening Friday, July 28th, 11 p.m. at the Mainline Theater in Montreal as part of the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival. TheEntireBang.com will tell you how to get tickets.
Nice. I can't wait.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait either. This is like hometown for Justin. It's where we met him, our intern. And he used to work for the Montreal Comedy Festival.
Yes, that's how we bumped into him. He was working the festival. We were there. And right away, we were like, we love this dude.
We love this guy, and we're going to take him with us forever.
Can we keep him?
Because he looks like young Neil Cassidy. So you looking forward to this?
Oh, yeah, I cannot wait. This is going to be so much fun.
Come on in here, because I want to ask you some Montreal questions. Because he is a Quebecer that's where he grew up.
Yes.
I mean, like if we were to see pictures of him when he was a kid, it would be amazing too. Because you grew up how far above Montreal?
It was 9 hours.
Yeah.
A good 9 hour drive, but I've heard people, cops do it in like 4.5.
Well, you and I are going to go and see your home, and we're going by moped. Two mopeds right next to each other. Probably take a 16 hours, 32 hours round trip, And we're going to each have to be holding on to a gas can because there's not a lot of gas in there. But this is, now, where do we want to eat in Montreal? What do we want to be doing?
Okay, if you want like the best restaurant is Joe Beef.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want like a real good like Montreal experience, like a diner or like a barbecue place, there's Barbie Barnes. And then there's this place called Green Spot. It's just like a mom and pop deli. You'll get like the best poutine you've ever had.
Yeah, that wouldn't be hard.
I like poutine.
I know you do. Poutine explain poutine to everybody.
Yeah, it's French fries, gravy, and cheese. But the cheese that they make I don't know what they do to it, especially in Quebec, especially like the further out you go, like outside of a city, the better it is.
Now, that's I'm sure because it's an international city now. So a lot of people who didn't grow up there live in Montreal. But across the street from where we're doing this is Schwartz's. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, that's another world famous deli with the famous smoked meat.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And they do the bagels differently than New York bagels.
Yeah, what is the difference? They do like a not boiled,
they
but baked.
Yeah, wood,
like that?
wood burning ovens. I love it. I haven't tried the kettle cooked ones here yet.
They're like crispier, right? Your bagels are crispier.
Yeah, I really like them.
And Schwartz's is known for that?
No, Schwartz's is known for the roast beef, or
Is that right?
Yeah,
So maybe
smoked meat.
Are they open late, or should we all go there before Comedy 101?
Yeah, it depends on the time of day and like and stuff. But yeah, we can probably get in no problem.
All right. So corned beef is what we want, right? Corned beef, is that what you're talking about?
No, smoked meat.
Smoked meats.
Yeah.
Pastrami. Is that what you're talking about? Because these are Jewish people who do this, right?
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be that different from New York.
Yeah, I guess it would be something similar. It's usually just with mustard and like a kind of rye bread or like a white rye bread. I don't know.
Yeah, rye bread. There's no white rye bread. White rye bread would be white bread.
Yeah, but it's I
think you're thinking of corned beef. I really do.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, Chris, that's right out of your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I love it. I've been to Schwartz's.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, there's always a crazy long line outside. Like, that's like, I guess it would be like Katz's here in the city.
Yes.
It's their Katz's Deli, and it's incredibly popular, and it's delicious.
And Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're like Mr. Corned Beef, right? I mean,
I'm corned beef boy.
Corned beef boy, take a look at corned beef boy.
You look like a ton of corned beef floating in beer.
And unlike Katz's Deli, which is like $20 a sandwich, the Schwartz's Deli is much better. Like it's.
You mean cheaper? Is the word you're looking
yes.
for?
Much better for the price. I like the better price of this.
I went there. I was expecting it to be $20. Like what?
Here to me is the weirdest thing I think about Montreal. Like when they give you at breakfast, when you normally get like here, you would get butter and jam.
Mm-hmm.
They give you peanut butter and jam.
Yeah.
And that's a place, right? What is it underneath the hotel we stay at? Egg something?
Expectations.
Yeah.
Great expectations.
And they always put peanut butter. And I'm like, okay, when in Rome, huh? A little peanut butter and jelly sandwich with my eggs.
Protein in the morning.
Jen, have you been to Montreal?
Yeah, I have some family that lives up there, but I was little when I went, so.
Do you have your, what do you call it, to cross the border?
Passport.
Oh, yeah, I have that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because when I was a kid, you didn't need a passport. You just went up there. And they were acting like, oh, we're all friends. And now it's like, here, fill out this form. I'm like, really? Huh? Jeez.
The first time I ever went to Montreal, I did not need a passport. I was able to just use my driver's license.
Is that right?
And the next time I went to Montreal, you couldn't go without a passport.
Well, I knew people who lived in Buffalo who were like shocked that you need a,
Yeah.
They're like, I'm from Buffalo. I'm here.
We just made up this line.
But I don't know whether you guys know this or not, but I think HuffPo did a story on this yesterday that Twitter is in love with Canada, and they just are romanticizing, not having Trump and having Trudeau instead. And they're just like, look how better everything is in Canada than here. Hey, you got a story up on the iBank today too, right? Didn't you write something, Justin?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I thought you did. An old story. Okay.
Yeah.
Letterkenny?
Yeah,
is
the
that
Letterkenny article. Yeah.
Yeah, what was that about?
Yeah, it's just this Canadian show. I think they have plans to, move it internationally. But they're coming out with their third season soon, and it's just about like small town life in Canada, and how basically the most important thing is to be like the toughest guy in the town.
Well, Chris, didn't you have a giant fucking TV show from Canada?
Trailer Park Boys was the show.
That was your favorite show.
Yeah, I love Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, this is like just as good, if not, on par for sure.
Then I have to watch Letterkenny.
Yeah, like the cold open they have on YouTube. It's just 3 minutes of them just busting each other's balls. Like they're just making fun of these hockey players, and like it's just these hockey players are the perfect archetype for like the jock. And, like, you love to hate them.
Yeah.
And they just got, like, every single group in small town Canada perfectly. Like, just, a little cartoonish, but, like, still really hilarious.
All right, I'm going to where can I see this at?
It's on Crave TV. It's with Bell right now, but I know I was talking.
Find any of that.
Just say Netflix.
What is it on my phone? I have a smartphone.
What kind of app do I need?
What search do I do? Letterkenny?
Can Siri take me there?
Siri, fix everything and make me perfect in Canada. Chuck in Boston.
Yeah, in 1997, I went up to Quebec. I stopped at a restaurant. I had a cable jukebox, and one of the songs on the jukebox was "I Heard It Through the Grapevine," and the name of the artist was the California Raisins.
Yes, that was a big hit here. You're a fucking lunatic, Chuck. Didn't just happen in Canada.
It was a Christmas special.
Oh, Vito moved over to the fucking phones.
We gotta get Justin back.
Everything was going great with Justin there, and then Vito moved over. Vito, you're staying for the next giveaway. I'm gonna keep Justin in here just so you gotta do a little bit of fucking work for a while.
It's gonna be rough.
I'm gonna give Vito some broadcasting tips because those guys went through so many names in 27 minutes that I had watched the show and couldn't follow it.
Yeah,
there's so much that they're trying to cover.
It's too much information.
Yeah.
You need to come up with nicknames. You'd be better off with nicknames at that point.
Here's what's funny about Big Brother. You know these people now, but like when we're like a month left and there's 4 or 5 people, you won't remember any of these people.
Yeah.
They're just out of your memory once they get voted off.
We're going to be like, who's that nerdy guy? I don't remember him.
Yeah, you'll see them when they all come back. And like, you've been watching on TV. Well, like, who are they? Just regular fucking fans? Hey, Bo in Chicago.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, man.
Hey, love your show. I'm just cracking up at your thing about the peanut butter, and I wanted to share this funny story that when my cousin lived in Vancouver for like 3 years, I asked him what he thought of it, and he said, all you got to know is that I love Dr. Pepper, and all I can find is Mr. Pibb up here. I said, what's your point? And he said, living in Canada is different enough that you notice, but not so different that you can brag to your friends about your cultural exposure.
That is actually a really good point. Yeah. You know, like, you're in Canada, and then you're just like, kilometers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I guess this is different.
Yeah. And there's nothing dating-wise that makes it like you're exotic enough. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm dating someone from another country. Oh, really? Right. Where? Canada.
I will ask you this, though.
So pretty much here.
Don't you think the French-Canadian girls are kind of exotic? I mean,
I will give you that.
Yeah, because they got that whole fille de roi and then the native mix as well. So they look very good. They tan very well.
And their titty bars are very, very famous and well thought of around the world. Like everybody that played Major League Baseball, heartbroken because they're not playing the Expos anymore. Because there used to be a thing, and I'm not going to say what ball players, but guys that I was talking to, there we go. Our rule for our team is no wives and family coming to Montreal. Because they would just fucking have a blast.
The first strip club I've ever went to was in Montreal, and I was like, that was too much too fast. Like, I probably should have started at a lower
started low.
and not had a doctor's view of a woman.
It was the original Sin City before Vegas.
Hey, Roger in Rochester, how are you?
How you doing, Ron?
Good,
I just wanted to help some of the fellow listeners that if you're going to cross in Niagara Falls up to Canada, you could use a birth certificate and a driver's license across the border, and they'll let you back.
But you have to go. You have to go back to Niagara Falls every time.
You don't necessarily need a passport.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to drive around with my birth certificate. You know what I mean? You lose that, and so you're all fucked up.
It's a nightmare to get a new one.
Yeah. You never know what big comedy stars are going to call our show. Lock it up, Mitchell Walters.
Yeah.
Mitchell.
Yeah. It's very easy to get to Canada with a package. You put it right in the carburetor. They don't look in the car.
Now, Mitchell, do you go anywhere without a package? I mean, do you just always have a standard?
In the old days, no. Now I have medication as we speak. Funny, did you see the poster I text Chris?
No, I didn't see this at all. Let me see. All right, the original Outlaws of Comedy, Alan Steven, Carl LeBeau, and Mitchell Walters, July 10th through the 16th at the Tropicana. These are the guys that traveled with Sam Kinison. And just amazing, amazing talents.
You want to see that poster? Because I haven't seen Carl in a long time.
Carl,
yeah, well, we talked about the Disciples of Comedy with Ron Bennington.
Yes.
Carl loved that tour. He don't remember it.
No. No one really. Anything that we do remember of that tour is just shameful. But
talk about strip clubs in the South.
Yes. Yes, Mitchell. There's a reason why things are called secrets. Now, Mitchell, when's the last time you've felt safe going out of the country?
I was in Detroit doing a gig, and then there was a job over in Windsor, Ontario, and I actually put a package in the carburetor. Sorry.
You won't drop that.
They don't have good product up in Amherstburg.
Yeah.
I was in the hillbilly part of Canada. I was Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah, you would have been.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing, Mitchell. Every plan is good until you get busted. Like inside of this, inside of that, they never look until they do. That's what I'm saying. Until they do.
Of course. Well, I got lucky. It was just me. Yeah. And I look a little older now. I have a cane. They
Yes.
actually looked at my cane.
Yes.
They took the cane apart.
Now,
That's when I knew I was home free.
Mitchell, you also used to make that Humboldt County run back in the early days.
Yeah, we used to do the Tampa Bay run.
Now, he would do a thing where he would fly into Eureka and then fly out the same day.
What the?
Fly in, yeah. Fly out. And then Mitchell told me he said to his brother, I know this is still the 70s, but this can't go on like this. I was like, you're somehow future pacing. No one ever goes, I know this is only 78, but this isn't going to last.
Now, I used to fly up from L.A.
Yeah.
He was up in Sacramento. I get on the 10 o'clock flight, get there 11:15, take the 12:15 back, and the guy at the gate said, "Did you just get off this plane?" I said, "I just came to kiss my ex-wife and see the kids."
What were you flying? The old Hughes Air West?
No, we back then we used Alaskan Air. I actually flew. They were the best.
Yes. All right,
I'm very
Mitchell.
excited about the reunion. That's all I can tell you.
Do you think this is a one-time only thing, or you guys might do more of this?
Well, Alan's trying to get someone to, get us actually, to run the tour. I mean, we got the shirts, we got the posters.
You got everything.
And, yeah, we're going to try to get to Borgata during the next few months. Maybe do 1 or 2 nights at the Borgata. I mean, Alan's great and Carl is fabulous.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And,
yeah, these are three of the funniest
it's a
fucking
great
people you ever
show.
see. Yeah.
It really is a good show on its own. I mean, we're all headliners.
Yeah.
But I don't care when I go on. I just want to sell some shirts. I'm all about the merchandise.
Oh, yeah. Well, you still got those shirts that you have, right? You got the...
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. All right, Mitchell. Talk to you later, buddy.
Bye, Mitchell.
All right, well, thank you. Bye, Dave. Literally
one of the funniest people in the world. And those guys did tour with Kinnison, and they got crazy fucking stories. The Outlaws were a fucking a rock and roll show. They really were.
Yeah.
A rock and roll show. 5 minutes. Let's give away that pack that we're doing.
The Laugh-In 50th anniversary box set, that's available at timelife.com/laughin, and that set includes 140 episodes from all 6 seasons of the show on DVD for the first time. Guest stars include Don Rickles, Bob Newhart, Johnny Carson, Cher, Debbie Reynolds.
God damn it, I forgot. I think Mitchell worked for George Slatter before.
Oh, shit.
On the new Laugh-In show.
Really?
I should have brought that up. I could kick myself in the back of the head. Go ahead.
The Laugh-In 50th anniversary special with George Slaughter is airing this Friday, 2 p.m. on Bennington. It will replay on Comedy Greats Channel 94 this Friday at 8, Saturday at 3, and Sunday at 12 and 8 p.m.
844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. Call in and win on that box set. All right, they now are putting pictures of baby Chris and Goodfellas. Who did that? That's hilarious.
This is Jerkstore Sean.
Oh, good job, Jerkstore.
Good God. That was fast.
Yeah, very fast.
Well, people love little Chris Stanley.
They're mean to him, though. They call him fat. And I find that...
Why would you even bring it up? Why be negative? Just
Yeah.
I can be glad people are paying attention to you.
But still, don't attack the child. Attack me, the man.
No one's going to attack a child.
Attack the child. Attack me, the man.
Trying to move some T-shirts here, Ratty. Yeah, I work with George Slatter. Me, Robin Williams, the whole fucking gang. All right, it's time to give out the Laugh-In 50th anniversary box set. 50 years of Laugh-In. Remember, this is the show that discovered so many great, talented people. George Slatter is going to be on tomorrow for the 50th anniversary special, and that runs Friday at 2 o'clock, and then replays on Comedy Channel 94. Comedy Greats, 8 o'clock Friday, Saturday at 3 p.m., Sunday at 12, and then 8. And this Laugh-In box set, includes all 140 episodes from all 6 seasons of the DVD for the first time. Go to timelife.com/laughin. Chris, Give me a number between 1 and 12.
8.
That's Jim in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Jim in Nebraska. Congratulations. We'll give out another one of these box sets in a half hour. We'll take a break right now. Bennington. One of the great one-hit wonder songs, the guy who co-wrote and sang that song just passed away, Gary DiCarlo, but it's one of those songs that even to this day, people know that song.
Everybody knows that song. Like, I guess mostly from like sporting events or stuff, something like that. I don't know what it is, but like
Chai kicked the shit out of Garden Valley. We sang them out. By the way, they just sang this in the Congress the other day when they were mad at each other. But one of those songs apparently was done at the last minute because they had to put something on the back of an A side of a 45.
Really?
And they're just like, can we just do something quick? And, you know, they just threw it out there like 1 take, 2 takes.
That's crazy.
And it's lived on. It's an immortal song. And it will outlive Gary DiCarlo because you just get the feeling that song can get picked up again. But, you know, it's such a boy band song.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a real thing of white kids just copping the Motown sound, Motown, you know, voices. And you think if somebody in a boy band were to do that song today, they could, you know, I don't know what you got to do, fucking throw in a robot voice or some shit, have a drop, whatever your kids need to keep yourselves going.
I like the drop.
I saw people in the hall here who were saying they're just heartbroken by Chris Stanley's childhood pictures. Yeah, because you're kind of thought of as the office fuck up, I guess, from some of the Christmas parties and
so
shit.
many ways you are.
Those things can get bad.
And now people are sad for saying shit about you.
Oh, they're saying shit about me? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they've always. You're the talk of the town. You're the fucking joke in this place.
Okay, yeah.
Now people feel bad for it.
You know, now they see you as a 3-dimensional person with a terrible childhood. Just pure sadness.
I know that you had a sad childhood, but I'm offering you this, and I mean it. You've heard of unconditional love, right?
Yes. Yes.
I'm offering you conditional love.
I mean,
that if you do all the exact things I want, exactly the way they want, I want you to do them, I will love you.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to take this offer, but I'm not sure if I can get all these conditions done. Now, what happens if I do one condition?
Well, then I'll treat you like your parents did. It'll be fucking normal for you.
But the power is in your hands. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Make it happen for yourself, Chris.
Yeah, for once, the power's in your hand.
I'm going to hit these conditions.
You know what? When I look up at this, I feel like here it is, the 80s, and that little boy never got a chance to play an arcade game.
I know, that's so sad. You never had any fun. And there is nothing better than a great arcade game when you're a kid. Like, when I was a kid, like, even video games at home, because that was just starting
they're never
at that
as
time.
good.
It, like, the level of excitement that I had with me and my brother going out to play arcade games.
That's awesome.
We go to Bennigan's because it was less crowded than like most of the other arcades, and they had an arcade room.
That's sick.
An app sampler, and then try to house that as fast as possible, and immediately run in there and play.
You were
arcade
kids that liked apps. I will give you that. You were kids that would enjoy.
Fucking loved apps.
Montreal sticks.
Oh yeah, loved an app. But my all-time, and I have a lot of favorite arcade games from when I was a kid, but I think my all-time favorite was the Simpsons arcade game.
As he was delivering papers?
Yes, and like you could do like multiplayer.
It was like 4 sticks.
Yeah, you could do multiplayer, so your friend could be Marge and you could be Bart.
But wasn't that a ripoff of Paperboy, the arcade Paperboy?
Yeah, and I remember somebody saying that at the time, but I didn't grow up playing.
You never played Paperboy.
Paperboy. And then, but no, there was also, but yeah, you had to deliver papers, but then you also had to fight people at levels because there were like people who would come in and then eventually like the aliens come in.
Oh, cool.
Like Kang or whatever their name is.
I'm going to think of this because an arcade game is much different than a home video game. If you were an arcade kid, like I can remember when there would be like 2 video games and all pinball machines. And then it would get to half, and then you turn around and you're like, there's only 2 pinball machines here? Because they were just building fucking arcade games. Like the arcade, the difference between like Pong and then was like 75 or something, 76. And then 6 years later, You know what I mean? Like the amount of technology boost is like what happened with the iPhone. You know what I mean? Like no one could. Every new arcade game, people are like, "What the fuck?" It's like you're really driving a spaceship. But I'm going to think of the best because there was a few that I got very addicted to, fast. But I will say the breakthrough. I'm going to say the peak of the arcade experience was the movie and the game Tron. Number one, they made it seem like that if you were an arcade player, your life would probably be pretty good because you'd be a hacker. Two, there were 4 games in one in Tron.
I thought there was just the one where it was like the tank.
No, you had tank, you had spiders, you had the motorcycle things.
Oh shit, the light cycle.
Yeah.
And then there was one that was really just a ripoff of Breakout. But Breakout is still one of the great things. But it would be a very fast Breakout trying to kill you. And then the movie came out, and the movie was also like a jump ahead movie. Like at the time, you're like, what the fuck?
We're living in the future. If we can have a movie
and I don't
like
think
this.
it did well. You know what I mean? I don't think it did extremely well. But 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God, the great arcade games. By the way, there's a place, and I know Davey Mack knows this place. It's called Fun Spot, and it's up in New Hampshire, and they've got every fucking arcade game from the 80s there.
See, I would love to see that because it's been a long time since
We could get a place up there, but it's a long ride for your dog.
Yeah, she tends to puke if it's over an hour and a half.
Jesus Christ. Bad driver.
I mean, sometimes I'm willing, but no, not bad driver. It doesn't matter who's driving.
Now, yours is The Simpsons. That's the best of all.
Yeah, that's my favorite. It was my favorite. Me and my brother always went to that one first.
What about for you, Chris? Best arcade game all time?
As a kid, like a tween, Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter 2 was gigantic. I mean, that was what was that, early 90s?
Early 90s.
Early 90s seems like it was Street Fighter 2 and that early 90s rap scene in New York City.
Yeah. It was in the back of every bodega in the city. They just like, hey, let's get a Street Fighter 2 machine. It's going to make money. And there was just kids crowded around every single one.
Well, because it was really it's martial arts, and it was kind of advanced graphics, and you could compete against each other.
Yeah.
Fairly. And what's always great about that, and this actually was horrifying, is like a little kid could beat an older kid. Like there's something about, like if a little kid gets into a game, they're fucking unstoppable.
Yeah.
Like a 7 to 8 year old could get really good at some of these games.
Now, here's something interesting I heard once that I don't know if it's true, but you know how advanced young kids are now with like the way they play video games, they just grow up on it.
Yeah.
However, they claim that actually the first generation throughout through the 80s, early 90s actually have better skill level because the games were harder to play. Arcade games, early Nintendo games, all that
we're
stuff.
always talking about arcade games.
Yeah. But it's like all those arcade games were more difficult to play than how like the way things move now. Well, that was difficult. You were like maneuvering things.
Yeah, now you're thinking of some kind of weird sniper game or whatever where you lay.
Yeah.
But that was just about the speed of your hands and how good your eyesight was.
Right. So on an arcade game, you're like hand to eye is just about the speed in which you're doing it.
And like pattern recognition and shit like
exactly.
that. Yeah.
I hate the fact of pattern recognition, like the fact that you can get good with that.
Yeah,
that annoys me.
Because then you need rhythm.
Yeah, you need rhythm, but you need to turn your brain off instead of having fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's really for people with a certain kind of thinking pattern. Mark, California.
Hey, morning. How are you?
Hey, man.
I guess my favorite arcade is Battle Zone.
Battle Zone. Now, what year are we looking at?
We're looking at like 81, 82.
So it's very early on, and get us a picture of that. Now, this is what would happen in that arcade kind of thing. You would get real good at something like this, right? And you can see how that just like it's asteroids, but the next level of asteroids. So you would get good at that, and then a new game would come out, and all the kids would care about that, and you'd be stuck as the guy who's good at the old game.
No one cares about you anymore.
Yes, you would go from being the stud of the arcade, to just like I can't believe you're still playing that shit.
Thinking.
Yeah, I actually remember that one. That was like a hanger-on for a long time,
Yes.
even while like there were some new ones popping up. And like, look at how crazy that looks, but it just looks so cool.
Tom in Jersey.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
For me, the biggest game early 80s, got to be Pac-Man. I mean, the game had its own theme song.
Well, Pac-Man was big, and then Miss Pac-Man was bigger. And I remember seeing this thing, it might have been on 60 Minutes, but some news program, that in Japan, which it got big in Japan first. And that was like the first, like, hey, we want to be more like Japanese than have them be like us. You know, we started to be like in their culture. But there was a shortage of coins because so many of them were in the machines.
Oh my God.
And they were like, what the fuck are we going to do now? We can't keep these coins flowing properly.
Running out of currency.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So, but like, you know, your mom was like, where am I supposed to get change at? But that Miss Pac-Man, I don't know whether you could get bigger than Miss
I don't think, the weird thing is, I'm not even sure I played much regular Pac-Man. Miss Pac-Man I remember completely. But what is the difference between Pac-Man and what was the game difference? Anything?
It's hard for me to remember, but I think it had to do with speed and the number of fucking thing. You know, Vito?
Yeah, so Miss Pac-Man was actually made by people who hacked into the original Pac-Man and recreated it so she was going faster and the ghosts were also going faster.
They actually hacked into the machine.
Yeah, so it was just people who were a fan of the game and remade it into Miss Pac-Man, and then that got made on a global level.
Wow, yeah, that's the one I remember playing. I'm not even sure. I'm sure I must have played regular Pac-Man at some point, but I
Just
always
remember the regular Pac-Man was a blue machine. Miss Pac-Man was pink.
Yeah. And she had a bow.
Yes, it was
That's
the bow.
how
That was the big fucking difference. Gordon in South Carolina.
Hey, guys. So just to add to Vito's point there, I'd never heard that story, but one of the big differences between Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man was in Pac-Man, you always did the same maze over and over.
Mm-hmm.
But Miss Pac-Man, you got different mazes.
Yeah.
You would do you would do the same one 2 or 3 times, and then they'd have a little cut scene, and then do a different maze. But anyway, Gauntlet is one of my favorite games of all time. It was the first game, I think, that you could do 4 players. And as I remember, it was one of the first games to actually incorporate speech. You would get a little warning, like a warrior is about to die.
Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. But that did make sense that suddenly the game started to talk back to you.
Right.
And shit like that.
That must have freaked people out the first time. The fucking machine's talking to you?
Everything. Every new machine just seemed like a giant leap ahead. So like I said, look what a Pong looks. And that was like 75 or something when it was big. Here you are 5-6 years later, and you see these machines. And it felt like there would be a new game coming out every couple weeks.
Now, there was even one that I remember that was kind of the same basic premise of Street Fighter, but it wasn't Street Fighter, and the graphics were like a little bit better. And I remember it was like KO, TKO. Like I remember hearing it, but I wish.
Mortal Kombat?
No, not Mortal Kombat. I feel like it was another one, and I wish I could remember. I remember all the chicks had huge jugs.
I think I know what you're talking about, too. If anyone knows that, 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. Here is Mike. Mike, what's up, buddy?
How's it going, guys?
Hey.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong went to number 1.
When you went into a place and they had a Donkey Kong machine, you lost your mind.
Yeah.
And then it was like Donkey Kong Jr. was amazing. And then the story was that Donkey Kong was supposed to be Monkey Kong, but there was like some translation issue in China where they were making the game, so it became Donkey Kong because of a typo, and that was like
I wonder if that's
true. How the game got the name. I mean, that's the urban myth. I don't know if that's the truth, but I feel like I've heard it more than once, like, in the world.
If it is, it's a great fucking story or a great myth. But yeah, Donkey Kong was ridiculously big. Here's Tony in Tampa. Tony, what's up?
What's going on, Ron?
Hey, man.
Hey, Super Mario Brothers, when it came out in the arcade in like late 80s, was just like quarters stacked. You couldn't get into the damn game.
Yeah, and I mean, this is, again, when you really start to think about it, these were like sequels, right?
Yeah.
Where the sequels got bigger and more ridiculous and less to do with the original idea of it.
Yeah, I mean, if I saw that right now, I would be so psyched. I would be like, just seeing that arcade game, I'm like, I want to play that right now.
Dude, we ought to do we ought to go up to New Hampshire, the fun spot, and just do a show out of there one
I
day.
know, that would be great.
That would be awesome.
Emmett, what's up?
Hey, man. Gail, are you thinking of Tekken?
What is spell it? Tekken?
Tekken. That was a big fighting game right around then as well.
Let's see if that's it. It's definitely similar. I'm looking at the characters, seeing if anything jumps out at me. It might be that.
They do have giant tits.
They do have giant tits. This would be like early 90s?
Yeah, around then. I was playing in like late 90s on like a PlayStation.
Not sure if that's it.
By the way, that's what killed the arcades. The fact that you could have a Game Boy and all that. And it's just a different experience like anything else.
Right.
There was something great about being on a boardwalk or some fucking weird thing where basically you got pedophiles making change for everybody. You know what I mean? Just some creepy guy with a mustache who owns the place that everybody mistakenly thinks is cool. There would always be bad food. You know what I mean? Like some kind of bad hot dog going in those. But I remember so many times you'd end up playing this stuff in bare feet. You know what I mean? Because it would be a summer game.
Yeah.
Here's Tom in Mass. Tom.
Hey, Ronnie B, $1,000,000.
Hey, million.
So basically, I got two of them, both kind of similar. I got Operation Wolf and then the Terminator 2 game. The games where you actually had the gun with the force feedback.
Oh, yeah.
And you had the button on the side with the grenade.
Look at that. Yes, I remember that now. Now, the weird thing is, most of the time, if it was a movie tie-in, it sucked.
Yeah.
But this one, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I remember playing the Terminator 2 one, and it was awesome.
Hey, let's go to Mike in Utah. Mike.
Hey, Ron, how you doing, man?
Good.
Good. Hey, there's this great place in Las Vegas called the Pinball Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that.
Yeah. And then they also have these old classic arcade games, but one of my favorites is Joust. Remember Joust?
I remember Joust. Yeah. You would fly. Wasn't it like on like a flying ostrich or something?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And you would fly across and joust against this thing and it would get progressively faster and faster. But it was very spacey. You know what I mean? Like it was like very dreamy
That's
to
really
play.
cool, actually.
Yeah. It was a pretty fun game and very tough to master. But you remember thinking, I wonder why they just didn't use like a horse.
Just look at how cool the artwork on the side. Like that's so cool looking.
Yeah, it's a beautiful cabinet.
Here's KT in Vegas. Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Ronnie?
Hey.
Hey, that game I think that Gail's thinking of where the titties are flopping around and jiggling is Soul Calibur, I think.
All right, let's
Does that make
try
sense to you, Gail?
No, I don't think it's that one. I guess there was a lot of big titty fighters.
Yes, it was a wonderful time for cartoon titties. Shane wants to help you again, Gail. Here's Shane in Boston.
Hi, how are you guys?
Hey.
Hey, are you thinking about Virtua Fighter by chance?
Yes, that's it. Virtua Fighter, 100%.
All right, let's take a look at this.
This is virtual.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
that's
looks
it.
very familiar.
That's it.
And you're right. It was like a shittier version of Street Fighter.
Exactly. And then, like, I remember the girls on the side who were the fighters that were painted on the side just had, like, massive tits for some reason.
Shane, you're going to the pretty good prize closet, buddy.
Yeah.
Our buddy Lewis in Manhattan.
Hey, what's up, guys? First, I want to disagree with you, Ron. The Virtua Fighter, that game is, well, it depends on what type of fighter you want to be. But if you really believe in like technically fighting and all that type of stuff, Virtua Fighter is better than Street Fighter because it actually had like the real moves and shit in it.
Well, I mean, that's like saying that the NBA games aren't good because you can explode into fire. I mean, you eventually want to just keep going bigger and bigger.
Yes.
You can't help it. You know, why are you limit yourself to any kind of reality? You know, that's what happens in that world.
I want to do shoot fireballs out of his palms.
The better one is Tekken. Like Tekken is basically like they took Virtua Fighter and made it more like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. But this game will make Chris happy, was Ninja Turtles. It was just like
oh hell yeah,
knock the
it was
shell
a
out of
four-player
him.
game.
Let's kick some shell.
Yeah, I love
remember
that
this
game.
one.
It was like I love the cartoon, so when you played it, it felt like you were playing the cartoon. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
the graphics were so good on it.
I mean, I loved everything Ninja Turtles, so that was just like one of those things that you would see and be like, I need to play that.
Now, here's the thing about Ninja Turtles, and you can understand why any kid would like it. But what kind of adult has this thought? You know what I mean?
Weird, right?
Weird. And you have to be a weirdo adult who thinks about turtles that eat pizza and do fucking karate.
Yeah, and then they're trained by a giant rat. Like what? Like why
Who
of everything?
greenlit that?
Yeah.
Who said yeah?
It's like, oh,
let's
yeah.
make this shit.
Or like
and
who's
live
like
action.
Yeah, like who's gonna think like kids are gonna love this for sure?
Here's the weird thing. It was a comic book first for like older nerds.
Yeah.
And then by the time it came around, people were mad that liked that. They're like, oh, look what they did with this shit, you know? It's
for kids.
They made it for babies, and this is really a smart fucking comic book. And of course, like always, the comic book guys get left behind, and the money guys come in. Hey, kid, you want another goddamn Ninja Turtle thing?
Yeah!
Please,
But
that's
if
what
you-
I should do.
If you guys want a fighter with real tit physics, you got to go with the Dead or Alive. Look at that game. That game just has bouncing titties all over the place.
All right,
Tit
thanks,
physics. Top tit physics.
Francis in Long Island.
Hey, buddies.
Yeah.
There was a game growing up. It was one of those gun games where the controller was a gun, and it was an Aerosmith theme. I think it was called Revolution.
Oh shit!
Was it Janie's Got a Gun where she shoots her dad?
Every time like you shot the bad guy, Steven Tyler would pop up in the corner and be like, "Yow!"
I believe Aerosmith was kidnapped and he had to save them.
What
I
year
also
was
remember
this?
Ronnie
Chris?
being at the arcade. There was the old guy that would give you the quarters out of his little quick pick thing on his waist, and you would get pissed off when we'd go over to the machine to feed our money, and the machine was taking his job, but no one wanted to touch the old guy's dirty hands.
94 was Revolution X.
Chris in New Hampshire.
Hey, buddies. I love the show. It's
Thanks.
great. Hey, Fun Spot's just like 3 miles down the road from my house. I grew up, I'm born in 1970, so I was going there in the 70s. It's been open since the 60s. And then I'm taking my kids there now, and the guy that owns it, Bob Lawton, he always walks around with making sure everything's okay. He's like maybe in his 80s by now. And I went up to him and I said, Bob, I've been going here my whole life, and now I bring my kids here, and he gave me like a $20 gift card. It's like, thank you, I appreciate it. But they have hundreds of arcade games, every one that you've mentioned. My favorite one was the sit-in Star Wars game that really had nothing to do with the movie because they have these towers you had to knock these white blocks off of. They got bowling alley. They've got candlepin. They got skee ball. They got an indoor putt-putt golf course. And it's like 3 miles from the Weirs, where they have the motorcycle rally that we just got finished doing that about a couple
Weird
weeks ago.
Every time I've been there, it's had everything but people. And you just have it to yourself.
What, really?
It's just levels and levels of your wandering around. Yeah, and like, so you'll be like on the other side, and you're just playing your quarters, and you're like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm married. And you find out everybody's okay here. And everybody else is off in some kind of a weird fucking place. It's like, it's right near Lake Winnipesaukee, Bob.
It's the last bus to Lake Winnipesaukee, Bob.
Alonzo, what's up?
Hey, Bennington.
Hey.
Hey,
I used to always go down to this little arcade, Aladdin's Castle, and play Area 51. But I also used to love Double Dragon. They were probably my two favorites that I'd always hit first thing as soon as I'd get there.
I love the fact that you remember the name of the arcade because they always had that kind of the White Rabbit and all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was always supposed to be some weird tie-in like that.
And when I was like a little kid, I remember just like being either in a mall or someplace where you would pass an arcade and they were just like, I need to be in there. Like the darkness and then the lights flashing and the sound. Like it was so appealing to a little kid.
I'm trying to think of who had to deal with the malls. It seemed like no matter wherever you were, it was the same company who owned that little arcade game place. And again, they started as pinball, quickly got taken over by video games. But if you look at like the length of time that pinball lived, it was like the dinosaurs going into man. Like man takes over, but it's only like for one fucking small part of the time. Because the second people could play it at home, they're like, no, you got your own.
Why go to an arcade?
Chris, what age did you finally get like a home video thing?
I think I must have been like 14 or something.
Your life changed?
I think, oh yeah. Because I would just go over to my friends' houses and they would have fucking like Super Nintendo or whatever. I think my first thing I ever owned was a PlayStation, maybe? That sounds about right.
Sure. You finally jumped on when it was PlayStation.
No.
You weren't
Super
even there
Nintendo
for the
was so good.
Atari fucking time. Hey, Patrick in Boulder, what's up, buddy?
Hey, buddies.
Yeah.
My friends and I in high school, we were addicted to this one arcade game. It was stupid, but we would have these little tournaments. It was called Bust a Move.
And
it'd be like, these bubbles that would be up on the top part of the screen. It's like almost like reverse Tetris or something.
Yeah.
Where you had to like clear the stuff at the top, match the colors, and we used to go crazy for that dumb game.
That's hilarious. John in Louisville.
Yeah, this game was like one of the first 50-cent games where you got to dump 2 quarters in, and it still stacked people up. It was a game, one of them was called Cliffhanger, and the other one was some kind of like Knight's Tale, but it was almost like a cartoon. And you made choices. It gave you like arrows.
Oh, yeah.
You would choose one way or choose the other way, and it would look like a cartoon, but if you like screwed up, it was like some kind of gruesome death.
So this was like
one of the first 50-cent.
This was like the first thing of pick your own story or whatever.
choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how it worked, if it was a laser disc or how it worked. But I don't know how long it lasted, but I saw it on YouTube the other day. Somebody had the whole thing, and it brought back some memories.
All right,
but
thanks, John.
They had one that was Cliffhanger and Knight's Tale, I think.
Mike in Fairfield, Connecticut. Mike.
Hey, Bennington.
Yeah.
My personal favorite from back in 1980, I believe it came out, was Tempest, one of the first Atari games in the arcade. That thing was wild. My buddy and I, we used to play it much.
Yeah, you could see how like that was tied in with like, I don't know, like a Star Trek thing or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you were just getting just the lines off of it.
Yeah. So cool looking.
But I remember even when they made Asteroids, and that meant that you weren't stuck at the bottom of the game.
Right, that you were moving through.
You were moving through, and then you were shooting things that burst apart near you. Because before that, it was all just kind of Space Invaders and...
Right, it was all just flat, two-dimensional.
Yeah, but this is the first time you're like, fuck, I can go anywhere, and then how do you operate this thing? How do you slow it down? What's the perfect speed to go?
Yeah.
And that shit was so smart because... you could play on you could get better and you keep putting coins in, but to be really great at it, it was like, there was only a couple people. Like you would think you were good and then some dude would come in and you'd watch him for 45 minutes. You're like, this is impossible.
This guy's a genius.
Yeah. I am standing near royalty right now. And that's that, what's the famous documentary that you guys had the guy on, Chris?
King of Kong.
There was a whole list of those dudes that were next level weirdos, you know what I mean? Like most of them had some kind of weird compulsion that made him good at these games.
Chris, what was the arcade game that was in the student center at Purchase?
That was Arkanoid.
Arkanoid, yeah, Arkanoid, and that got very obsessive because of people who would go back there and, you know, to be in the number one spot, and people would always be checking up.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, someone bumped me.
I was playing that thing constantly.
Yeah.
It literally starts to feel like if you then, like, take a vacation or something, you try to find a place with one.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm fucking weird.
I need Arkanoid.
And I remember there were people that were like rock bands would know where to go in each fucking town because they got addicted to it. Comics too.
Yeah.
And some people that you would never fucking expect would
It was
talk
just like-
really long about these
Right.
things. You know, Jobs and Wozniak were working on these things before they started Apple Computer.
Really? That's
yeah, I
what
mean
they-
that was the thing to make money on. That was, you know, Time Magazine would just do these things, the future of entertainment. Say goodbye to movies, say goodbye to the TV set.
Right.
Everybody's just going to be playing games. And everyone's like, I guess that's true. I don't know. Time Magazine said it. Here's Jimmy in Michigan.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey.
Hey Ron, I got to say something about asteroids first. Were you a big fan of asteroids?
Yeah, I thought it was an amazing breakthrough.
Now, do you remember like the good people? They would leave like one tiny rock, and then they would go hunting, and they would just go.
Yes.
You know, like, and then they would shoot the thing at the perfect angle every time the little ship came out.
Yeah. And that's what I'm talking. Like some people would start thinking on it at another level. Where like if you're a kid and you're just running around hitting it, and then somebody comes in and goes, "This is what you got to do." And you go, "What are you fucking talking about?"
Yeah.
You know, and that was the whole thing. That was the whole thing to Space Invaders too. Is someone learned that you had to let it get right on top of you, and every instinct in your body was like, "No, I can't let it get that close."
Yeah.
No.
Isn't that crazy? It's just like how quickly like that kind of addictive behavior, obsessive behavior too, like
Right.
that video games and arcade games like brought out in kids. Just immediate obsessiveness.
What would happen as soon as you learn one thing, you would go from, let's say, 20,000 points to a guy who's scored 140,000 points.
Yeah.
But before you learn that one thing from somebody, it took you forever to get from like 17,000 to 20. And all of a sudden you're up on this level and other people are coming in going, what the fuck?
Right.
And if you were a fucking asshole, you wouldn't tell them how you did it. You were just saying, I don't know, I'm faster than you. I'm better. I'm better than everything about you. Chris, we're going to Montreal.
Yes, we are. And Comedy 101 is happening Friday, July 28th at 11 p.m. at the Mainline Theater in Montreal as part of the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival. You go to theinterrobang.com to find out how to get tickets to Comedy 101.
And then you and Vito have a new podcast.
Big Brothers, the Big Brother podcast. You can go to theinterrobang.com for that as well. We talk about the first episode of Big Brother.
Now, I listen to you guys, and I'm not surprised that Vito's nerdish, but you're pretty nerdish, too.
All right, I used to love Big Brother. Then I stopped after Evil Dick's first season. And then last season, I got back into it, and I'm watching feeds all the time, waking up, seeing what they're doing, going to sleep, watching the feeds on my phone or on a computer. It's fucking bad.
You got the feeds already? You guys signed up for the feeds?
I'm using Vito's password.
He's also paying for 2 of his own already, also.
I lost like a couple of passwords and I don't know how to get them back.
Go to CBS.com, you idiot.
I forget what emails I use for them now.
Oh my God,
They're
Chris.
killing me.
They can't keep charging you. Can't go on like that.
Just figure this out.
I know, I got it.
Also, Vito, give me that password.
I got you. Ron, you need password too?
I don't want you to say I got you to me like you're fucking cool. So no, I don't want it. No, I'll just watch the TV show and then judge you guys. But the strategy of the game it's a good strategy game, but they've completely fucked it up. There should be no swerves if you have a good game. That's why you like baseball, because there's no swerves. It follows rules, and you get to see who's good at the strategy game and who's not.
Also, a swerve is fine, but when you're doing like 3-4 an episode, come on. Like if you have some mid-season thing that like you've been building up to,
pendant of some sort.
See, to me, when a game changes, right? A game makes sense. Like when they added the 3 points to fucking the 3-point shot to basketball. The fact that everyone gets it is a way for the players to adjust. Or the DH, both teams get it. But to have a thing where only one team gets the advantage, and that's what keeps Big Brother from being a good game. The game should never be, hey, you think you know the rules, but you don't. Imagine if football was that. You didn't know this, but I have a special coin, and I can put 30 fucking guys on these next 3 plays.
Also, I will say I like Big Brother more than most reality show, more than any other reality
it's
show.
the best.
But I think that a huge part of it is the challenges, which I hate. I hate all those
I hate too.
They suck.
Like I actually like watching it a little later because I like to record because I can't sit there while they're like doing their
endurance challenge.
Yeah, endurance. No, I don't care. This doesn't mean anything.
And people still don't follow it. Chris and Vito were bragging about who was ripped and how good they're going to be, right? Strength is so far down the line on an advantage in that show. Balance, speed, puzzle solving, not fucking understanding knots. Those things are helpful. But there's never like, who can pick up this piano and move it? Strength does you almost no good.
You're right. And it usually is like, oftentimes those endurance challenges tend to be like the little kind of
little girls the little girls that know how to find their center of balance. Those people are dangerous on that show. Now, Chris is attacking somebody who's a dancer, right? Saying that she's the worst thing he ever saw.
Don't like her.
But to be able, she does ballet, right?
Yes.
That makes you a dangerous player in that fucking game. That's the type of person that can stand on a ball for 8 hours.
Now, is this the girl who went, bye?
Yes, yeah. Raven.
See you later.
First of all, here's my thing too, right? Don't brag to me that you own a fucking dance studio. That means you own an empty room. You know what I mean?
With a mirror.
It doesn't mean anything. That's the easiest thing in the world to own. I'll go out and buy a dance studio right now with the money that's in my pocket.
Dude, can I say also, 90% of the people are like, I'm not going to tell them what I do for a living. You can probably tell them what you do. 90%.
Here's what's weird this year. A lot of ex-military.
I noticed that. It's a military twist.
Yeah, they'll be using a lot of my interrogation.
Oh,
No,
that girl.
you're not going to fucking burn anybody or whatever you thought you did.
Turn the fees, they're waterboarding each other.
When she said, I spent years in Kuwait interrogating people, I was like, that's a weird thing to brag about before
I
you
know.
go to Big
That's
Brother
something you should
house.
keep quiet.
Yeah.
And pick a color for your hair.
Can't have all of them.
And what is this, the year of the sleeve? There's sleeves all over the fucking place this year.
Yeah, the tattoos are crazy. I mean, but it's funny. Like the twist thing got so out of hand a few years ago. I feel like they had one twist like 5 or 6 years ago. People responded to it. And ever since then, they've been like, let's just keep doing shit like that over and
This
over
is
again.
the year the twist ends. This year, 8 people get voted off in the first week. Then we bring out 8 people who played before. Some of the people get to bring their fucking twins in here.
Honestly, the most unexpected thing would be no twists.
Joe DeRosa's here, ladies and gentlemen. Joe DeRosa's in the house.
Hey.
What do you say, pal?
Thank you. How are you?
Nice to see the Motorhead.
Thank you. Hi.
How's it going?
Good to see you. How you guys doing?
What's up, Joe?
man? How's it going?
What do you got a nice... Dude, you got a nice Nintendo thing. We're just talking about old school arcade games. As you came walking up.
I've been collecting for the last year retro video games.
That's amazing.
Weird.
We were just having this conversation. What's your favorite of all time?
My favorite game or console?
Well, let's go favorite game.
Favorite game of all time is a game called Devil's Crush. It's a pinball. It's a devil pinball game on the TurboGrafx 16. And I got a TurboGrafx 16 recently. I love that game as a kid. And I paid $80 for a used copy of, of Devil's Crush. Because, you know, they don't make them anymore.
Well, do you think our listeners can stump you? You think that they could
probably.
bring up a video game, and then if you don't remember it, I'll have to give out a prize?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know that much.
Yeah. Well, you know, Jeffries is into pinball machines and pinball machines only. But you like the old console games.
Here's what I have. So I have a TurboGrafx 16. I have a GameCube. I have a Super Nintendo. I have a Genesis. I have a Intellivision. I have a PS4. And I have a Nintendo Classic, which is hacked, that has all 700 Nintendo games on it.
Yeah.
And then I have a Galaga machine, like an actual cabinet from the arcade with like 60 games. And then I have a 3DS from when I travel.
Wow.
And I was in the Nintendo store and I was like, you guys don't have the Switch, do you? And the guy's like, go get in that line right now. I was like, okay, I guess I'm just going to buy it. Fuck it.
Now, isn't that funny that people still want the old physical games, right? They don't just want to stream these.
I'm a mediophile, so I only collect, mostly buy hard copies. I mean, I still buy cassettes, I still buy vinyl, I still buy CDs, I still buy Blu-ray, VHS, DVDs. I buy books instead of downloading them.
Right.
Comic books I'll download a lot because it's so much bulk and you read it in 10 minutes. You know what I mean? If you get the newest issue, it doesn't take long. So that's one thing that I'll download, but I don't like, I'm not a snob. I stream music all the time and I stream movies, but I like having a collection. It's something to do.
You're a collector. Yeah. You love the idea of collecting.
Yeah. You know? Did you ever see that Night Gallery Rare Objects?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a great
with
one.
Mickey Rooney.
Yeah.
It might be my favorite episode.
Night Gallery, by the way, for everybody who thinks Twilight Zone was the scariest thing, Night Gallery, I think he'd even upped his game.
I don't think I've even seen
Creepy.
Night
Oh, my
Gallery.
God.
Like, I've seen a lot of Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
But no.
But I think he had more money when he did Night Gallery or more time or something. You just couldn't get away with fucking around. It was like really good writing. Or else I just remember it that way.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
It's Twilight Zone, except it's horror based instead of science fiction based.
Okay.
It's great. Did you ever see the other way out? The one with Burl Ives?
Burl Ives is amazing. You even bring up the name. He was unbelievable.
Yeah. And he plays like this fucking creep. And everybody knows Burl Ives is
This
like
is a
the
sweet
goddamn
guy, yeah.
snowman or whatever.
He always scared me a little bit, Burl Ives.
Yeah, he's that episode I think is my favorite, followed by the Mickey Rooney one.
All right, there was one that I saw that a guy would go into an art gallery and he would stare at a painting so long that he eventually became in the painting, right? And it was like a fishing thing. And he was on the run, I think, for murder. And they were chasing him through the streets, and he gets back to this fucking museum, and he's going to go into the painting for good. And he just disappeared, and he did. But they had moved the painting, and he was in another fucking painting.
Was it a bad painting he was in? What was it, like a hell thing or something?
He was, I think, fucking crucified.
Oh my God, that's so creepy.
And I saw it when I was a fucking kid, and I was just tossing and turning all night. I was like, just trying to figure out how to choke myself with my fucking pajama top so I could fucking just eventually die. All right.
What are you going to do?
Let's see if you remember this game right here. Here's Andrew in New Jersey. Andrew, what's up, buddy?
Arcade game, Spy Hunt.
Do you remember Spy Hunt at all?
Well, it's Spy Hunter.
Yeah.
Yes. But that's not really stumping if you tell me the name of the game.
Yeah.
You just go, remember the game called Pac-Man? I remember. I thought he was going to like describe it or something.
That isn't what I call for, but how about,
okay.
All right, I'll name a game and you tell me what system it was for.
Oh,
okay.
That's
Let's try that.
interesting. Yeah.
All right, Space Armada.
Chase Armada?
Space, I believe.
Armada.
Oh, Space Armada.
Yeah.
That's in television.
You suck, Joe DeRosa.
Joe DeRosa cannot be beat. He cannot be beat. We'll send you in the pretty good prize closet. I'm pushing all in on this guy, Chris.
1 point. All right, let's see how far we can go here.
Joe's podcast, Emotional Hangs, hosted by Kurt Braunholer and Joe DeRosa, is available on iTunes and on feralaudio.com and on Twitter at Joe DeRosa Comedy.
844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. By the way, you were out the other night for that roast, which is going to be a legendary roast now.
That thing was... Everybody really killed, man.
Yes.
It was really nice. That was a fun time. Nerve-wracking as all hell, but...
I could see that in almost every... I was watching Voss a lot, and he just looked like he wanted to push everybody out of the way and start doing jokes. So you're worried your jokes are going to get eaten up too fast? Or?
I was shocked at the amount of the lack of overlap that there was.
Me too.
Like nobody really seemed to be crossing anything off, or like everybody seemed to kind of have their own.
Yeah.
And for every roast, every joke you write, you go, oh fuck, everybody's gonna fucking just say this, and I was shocked there was very little of that. I felt like it was such a personal thing, but even with the audience knowing the comics and their personal lives, everybody was able to really like hit on the stuff they wanted to hit on, and nobody had to go to cliche things like, you look like you smell like a, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like shit like that, like sort of stock.
You know what? One of my favorite moments was Big J end it just telling what sometimes that Patrice had busted your balls.
Yeah.
And I don't know, how could you be in the middle of a roast and have something so fucking sweet where everybody was just thinking of Patrice and how fucking evil he could be?
What was this? By the way, I was down 3 double jacks at that point. What was the story he told? I don't remember.
It's something about, do you remember it?
Yeah, the joke was that he couldn't have a heart-to-heart with your dad.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yes.
But just like for that moment, everybody was thinking of Patrice at the same time. And it felt like it was like Jay was saying it almost like it was at a eulogy.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a weird magical night, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like we went places watching that roast that we shouldn't have. We just shouldn't have happened like that.
I think Rich should. I think he should. They don't have to. I mean, it'd probably be tough to release as a video, but I feel like he should release that as a CD. They used to release the Friars Club roast on CD.
Yeah.
It's like you got great audio of it. Like release it as a CD and split the profits up, or give the profits to charity.
Well, he shot that all in video too. There was cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
All right,
It'd be
Matt.
the easiest thing to do.
Matt, are you ready to stump DeRosa? It can't be done, by the way.
Oh, I'll give it a good shot.
Okay.
All right. So the game was about mid-'90s or so.
Mm-hmm.
It's a game called Gex. Do you recall what the original system that came out on and who was the voice of the character?
Well, that's too much. Let's go.
You can't
for
make your
Cisco.
own rules for this.
Yeah.
We say it's called Gex?
Gex.
That was PlayStation 1, was it not?
No, originally it was released on the Panasonic 3DO system. Do you know who the voice of the
I don't even know what the fucking Panasonic 3DO system is.
That's the next thing you got to get. You got to Gex it. Now, who was the voice?
Who was the voice? Yeah.
The voice actor was none other than Mr. Dana Gould.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, sir.
All right,
That's
you're
a
going to
very
the
good
pretty good prize closet. All right, we're at 500 right now. I mean, that's still an amazing thing to be at 500.
Yeah, let's not keep it at least to the systems I named. Let's keep it to some name brand systems coming out. This was
Don't give that guy too good of a prize, Tito. I mean, I feel like he went around it too. All right, here's Carl in Oakland. Carl, how are you? Carl, we got you, buddy? I think Carl's passed out in a...
Carl, are you okay?
Yeah. He was driving, trying to Google the name of the game.
I'm going to have to move on from you, Carl. Here's Sean in North Carolina. It's time to stump DeRosa.
Hey, Ronnie B.
Yeah.
Okay, DeRosa.
Mm-hmm.
What console did Night Driver come out on?
Night Driver.
Night Driver?
Yes. Night Driver.
I believe that is also an Intellivision game.
No, Atari.
Shit.
Atari.
Atari. Are you sure it wasn't also on Intellivision?
Well, I don't know, Joe. I come up with the question, so I'm pretty sure.
Pretty goddamn short. Chris, you're checking these, right?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was originally on the Atari 2600 and then the Commodore 64.
Oh, he almost said fucking Commodore 64.
All right, I'm going to send you in the pretty good prize closet.
See, that's a fair one. That was a good one.
Vito, stay on these because I'm not remembering. We're giving out so many fucking prizes now.
I told you it wasn't going to be that hard.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like you were going to... I thought this was going to become like this thing that just, like, we become known for this.
I know what I know.
Yes.
And that's all I know.
But do you know a lot of people that do the same kind of collecting that you do? Do you have buddies that do this?
Not too many. Yeah. I have a handful of friends that enjoy it and like to come over and play the games, but I don't know anybody that's become as enthusiastic about collecting as I have. And it's not like I have a ton of shit. It's just like, you buy the games you want for each one of those systems, but there's just nothing like plugging it in with the real controller.
Right.
Because I got into it because I was doing an emulator for a while on my computer.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt guilty because all the files were free. And I was like, and I know I'm buying this shit secondhand now anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's not like the publishers get money when you buy used stuff.
Yeah.
But I just felt like kind of weird, like that I was getting it for free. I you know, as a performer and stuff, I feel like it's my obligation to put money back into the system.
Yeah.
Somehow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Were you ever an arcade guy or just?
Oh, yeah. When I was a kid.
What was the first big arcade game for you? Because we were getting into this, and everybody has almost this love affair with their early arcades.
The first game I remember, it was called Cocksuckers Plus. And you had to suck a cock.
Oh, Chris, you remember that game, don't you?
You loved it.
You used to play it with your uncle.
Still play it today.
No, my favorite, the first game I remember that like blew me away was Star Wars Arcade, which was a vector graphics version of Star Wars.
And you had to sit inside that one? Was that
They had a sit-down one, but they had a stand-up one, too. But I
Yeah.
remember I was such a Star Wars freak. Star Wars was the first movie I ever remember seeing. Like, so that when I saw that game, that was pretty mind-blowing to me that you could live out a movie that you loved.
Right.
But then I think everybody has their sort of Sgt. Pepper's of video games. Not necessarily the first thing you played, but the one where you're like, holy shit.
We peaked.
Yeah, Double Dragon was the one where I was like, I mean, they had it at the 7-Eleven, and there was a line of kids constantly. Like, it was crazy. It was so popular, and we were all just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Man? So there had just never been anything like that, you know.
And that would happen, you know, it would happen a couple times a year in those early days that the technology would just take this leap ahead. Because, like we said, we're not that far from that game and Pong are like fucking 10 years or something. You know, the original kids were just like, look, a thing moves. A light moves.
You made it move.
Yeah.
There is a strange thing that happens. I don't know if phenomenon's the right word, but technology, you know, it's just like with music and stuff. As technology advances, it hits a rut where it steps backward again. So that happened with video games. Like video games were going, let's say, you know, from Pong forward. You know, it was Pong, and then you had something like Pac-Man, where it was like, okay, there's actually like a character in this now. That's weird. That's never been a thing.
Yeah.
And then that advances into like Donkey Kong and Burger Time and stuff like that, where it's more intricate. And then you get the games like Double Dragon, where you're able to move within the depth of the screen, and it's a continuous thing, and it's not just a point. There's an end to the game.
Yeah.
And then that advanced into the stuff that, you know, the you know, Street Fighter 2 and all those games that came after that. But then you get to PlayStation 1, and it's like, that's the most advanced system of the time.
Yeah.
And it looks like dog shit. It looks like fucking dog shit because it was a complete change in technology.
Yeah.
So it just looks like shapes. That's all it looks like. It looks like a bunch of but the whole idea was, but you can be in a 3D world.
Right.
So people that were real gamers, like, really were blown away by that. But I mean, that's like when the synthesizer came out in rock music, and you were like, this sounds like shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it started to show up everywhere because it was technology.
Yeah.
You know?
And then eventually it got good enough that it was cool.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it just, so that's an interesting thing.
All right, here's Rob in Philly. We're playing what now is being called the easiest game in the world to win, Stump DeRosa. Rob, we got you?
But no, I got you. I'm right here. You
All right. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes, you're on, Rob.
All right,
go
there we
ahead.
go. Okay, my bad. Now, I'll give you Rock and Roll Racing, Mr. DeRosa.
That's Super Nintendo.
Boom! And we're back!
And we're back.
Steve in Connecticut. Stump DeRosa.
Hey, guys. This one goes way back, and actually, I'm going to tell you who made it, and then you can tell me the name of the game.
Well, wait, you can't do that. You're just telling the name of the game, and then...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do
And
that.
I'll tell you the system.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is an original arcade game. It was a predecessor to all of the space games. It was called Missile Command.
This is one that I played.
Yeah, I remember Missile
And
Command.
whose game was that? Whose arcade game was that, Joe?
Japanese, I believe.
Oh,
right?
you mean you want the manufacturer now? You're saying?
No, whose game name was on it?
But well, yeah, like who designed it?
No, who the name that was on the game in the arcade.
It was an Atari game, right?
Well,
exactly. You got it, Ron.
Yeah, that's not what we're. That's not what we're doing. That's the publisher of the game. That's the designer.
Now, I've got one that's just come through via text from Mike Fenoya.
Okay.
Just texted me.
All right.
And asks you, what system for Keystone Capers? Keystone Capers.
This is some kind of impractical Joker thing that he's running where it's just made up.
Well, I dare I say he's wrong. I'm going to say in television, because in television, a game called Lock and Chase. Is that what he's talking about? Or the game is definitely called Keystone Capers?
I looked it up, and the reason I looked it up is because actually the answer that he gave is wrong. So I feel like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he said, I don't even know this,
ColecoVision?
Yeah,
ColecoVision. That was one of the early ones, yeah.
But it was actually Atari was the game. But
So
I've
that's a
never
foul.
heard of this before. Like,
I think it's basically I have a game called Lock and Chase for my it's Keystone Cops.
Yeah.
And that's what Lock and Chase was. So they had to change the name apparently for Atari so they could swindle kids out of their fucking money twice.
Our boss Don Wickland texted too. He wants to know if we remember Black Knight Pinball Machine, the first multi-level and multi-ball machine with speech processing involved, something never attempted before 1980.
Who wrote that in?
This is Don Wiki Wickland.
Don, nice to hear from you. I don't remember that because, again, you've gone outside the rules of our game.
All right, there it is, right?
This is it.
Well,
He's not even doing video. It's not even a video game.
This is for Jim Jeffries when he comes
No,
in.
I have a board game question for you, Joe.
Here's Tim in Nashville. Tim.
All right.
Hey, what's going on, Bennington?
Hey, buddy.
1993, it was WWF Rage in the Cage.
93 Rage in the Cage. I mean, it's either Super Nintendo or Genesis. I'm gonna say Genesis because we've had a few Super Nintendo ones, and I feel like maybe you're trying to go in the other direction. So I'm gonna say Genesis.
You're close, but it actually came out on a Sega CD.
Oh, but that's part of Genesis.
Yes, that is part of
You need a
Genesis.
Genesis
sir. That's
for
part
it.
of Genesis.
Yeah, you can't play the CD without the Genesis. It's an
Yes,
add-on.
that's the thing, Tim.
And that's true.
Let's be
I'm
honest
not-
about that.
Yeah.
Richard,
Thank
Virginia.
you. Who is it? Jim?
Yeah,
What's his
it was
name?
Jim. Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. Jeffries? That was Jim
That was
Jeffries?
Jim
called?
Jeffries.
That's him. Jim Jeffries
He was
himself.
like, he's stopping everything that he's doing. Richard in Virginia.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
How about pole position?
Well, that was. It was first released in the arcade, and I think the first home console it was on was Atari.
I think it's back.
But it was
yeah, I
also
think you're
on
right, yeah.
ColecoVision, and
Yeah.
it was on a bunch of systems. But I think Atari had it first.
Which version of Atari?
2600.
No, here's the thing, though. Atari should win the game, I believe.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I like that he asked
Yeah.
what version, but
Yeah.
it's 2600.
Now, pole position, again, another game that was frustrating because it felt like you got good at it, and then you would meet people who were light years ahead of you.
It's an impossible fucking game.
Yeah.
It's the steer. I don't know if you remember how it felt, but the steering wheel is so goddamn loose.
Yes.
And you're going so fast, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? It had the steering wheel had no resistance to it.
Yeah.
So that was another thing that got cool when like the driving simulators got better.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like the steering wheel would pull the way a steering wheel would, but that thing was just a spinning disc.
Yeah, as soon as you would give it any speed, you would go off. All right, let's go to Keith in Louisiana. It's time to stump DeRosa.
How's it going?
Hey.
Hi.
Gorf.
Gorf was a computer game, wasn't it?
No, it was.
No? Oh.
Nope, it was on the ColecoVision. It had 5 games in one.
Oh, shit. That's a deep cut. I don't know that one.
All right, you're going into the pretty good prize closet, my friend. Don't give them too good of a pretty good prize. Beto, look at me. I don't want you to hear that you're giving out signed Bob Newhart shit like you do, all right? Keep it light.
What are the prizes today?
Well, Vito should have hopped in with it, but he hasn't been on it lately. But we got, normally anybody who's been through here, we had him sign albums and books and stuff like that. So it's always good stuff, but he's never dropped in with one of them.
No, he hasn't said any of the prizes that anyone's winning.
Now, here's something that we're giving out in a minute. This is its 50-year anniversary. Every Laugh-In.
All 140 episodes from all 6 seasons of the show on the DVD for the first time. It's the Laugh-In 50th anniversary special.
Oh, wow.
Box set for the 50th anniversary of the series. And for all details, go to timelife.com/Laugh-In. And the Laugh-In 50th anniversary special with George Schlatter is airing this Friday at 2 p.m. on Bennington. It'll replay on Comedy Greats Channel 94 this Friday at 8 p.m., Saturday at 3, and Sunday at 12 and 8.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break, Chris, and we'll give away one of those right now. Give us a call at 844-ROCK-GOD. 844-ROCK-GOD. This is Bennington. It's the Bennington Show. Chris, pick a number between 1 and 12.
2.
All right, that's Mitch in Nebraska. You win the box set. Also, I just found out, and I know George Schlatter would love this. Joe DeRosa's a big fan and would love to get one of these box sets. So, Joe, for playing our game today, we're going to give you a box set.
Really?
Laugh-In, yes.
Oh, thanks.
That's the Time Life Laugh-In box set commemorating the 50th anniversary of the series. That includes 140 episodes from all 6 seasons of the show on DVD for the first time. Go to timelife.com/Laugh-In. More information.
That's awesome. Thank you, man. I grew up watching that show.
Well, I did 2 different interviews with George, but one of them we're running tomorrow is about that. Now, he was the guy who discovered Goldie Hawn and the guy who said, immediately the network said, look, she's not reading her lines right.
Right.
She's giggling and fucking up. We got to fix this. And he's like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll fix it. And then just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then Lily Tomlin. So, I mean, discovers 2 giant stars that went on to become movie stars.
Yeah.
And then other, comedy stars at the time.
I didn't realize that was also Lily Tomlin's breakthrough. I knew it was Goldie Hawn's, but I didn't know it was also Lily Tomlin.
And I don't even know if they were on this show a couple of this. He might have even replaced Goldie with Lily Tomlin.
Because Goldie was like their early years, right? Like that was like right at the beginning.
Goldie was like a teenager,
yeah,
or something when she did that show.
Lily Tomlin was hot when
yes,
yeah, she was like a sexy
and one of
sexy lady.
Yeah, one of our first kind of famous lesbians. Like she, like people weren't even that used to.
Was she out pretty early, or?
I know that she was always with her wife long before, like they were co-writers and stuff.
Right.
So I felt like it was a known thing, if not one that was discussed.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that till recently that she was a lesbian.
Yeah.
But she's so fucking funny, man.
She's unbelievable. She's still one of the great comedy minds.
9 to 5, I own one of my favorite movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And which is why I like that movie that she was in. It wasn't a great movie, but that movie Grandma or whatever it was called that she was in with, where it's like about her getting her she's taking her granddaughter to get an abortion.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
I didn't see that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
The movie itself was whatever, but her performance in it was
she's
really,
a great character
really
actor.
funny. She,
Well, then she also, I don't know what the other things she did with Steve Martin when they were trapped in each other's bodies. It was fucking just great physical comedy.
All of Me. I own that movie too.
And then she did, I think, Nashville, which was a big 70s hit.
That I didn't see. Who was in Nashville?
Well, who's the director? He's done, I think...
oh, shit.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? Robert Altman, that's it. So he had done MASH and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he was the first guy that had people talking like in real life where they talked over each other.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, so you would have an Altman film and you just hear these voices. Like if you were at a party, you heard all the voices going on. Some people hate it and some people loved it.
Wasn't Sybil Shepherd in Nashville? Or is that another?
Sybil Shepherd was Last Picture Show. That was her big breakthrough.
Oh, that's right. I'm getting confused.
And that was for Peter Bogdanovich.
Yes.
Who also was the guy who married the girl that was killed in Star 80.
The model.
Yeah, the model, the Playmate model.
Played by Mariel Hemingway.
Mariel Hemingway,
I believe.
Yes.
And the boyfriend is Eric Roberts.
Crazy Eric Roberts, who had just a bombastic, like the beginning of his career was so like shot out of a cannon. Like, is this going to be the next De Niro, the next Marlon Brando?
And then he just fucked it up with drugs, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, he enjoyed drugs. And, he's having a good time. Not always the best thing for a career. But Pope of Greenwich Village came out around the same time.
So good in that.
King of the Gypsies. And it just seemed like he was going places.
Last time I was on Jay Moore's podcast, we were talking about Pope of Greenwich Village, and he started doing, of course, an impeccable Eric Roberts impression. From the movie. I stole fucking money.
That's it. I didn't fuck his wife.
I spit in his fat fucking face.
What did I do, Charlie? You took money. And when he found out that he rattled him, what was I supposed to do?
Like, what is that performance? Like, what is that delivery?
It's so weird. It's so fucking weird. The part where he's feeding them the soup.
Yeah. Or where they're just walking down the street arm in arm, when they're just holding on like they're...
Yeah.
It's almost like they're dating, but they're not. And like, he's playing... Eric Roberts almost plays it like... He gets his thumb cut off and he's acting like he's crippled. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's
like that's the end of his
He's
life.
acting like he's got like cerebral palsy.
Yeah,
like he's not like moving properly anymore. It's very weird. It's weird.
I put fucking lion in coffee, Charlie. I was told this story, and he might even deny it today, but it was a long time ago, and Tom Rhodes used to do a little bit on fucking stage, right? And then he was out with Richie Belzer, and he used to do Eric Roberts. And the fucking like 4 o'clock in the morning, there's a knock at the door. Eric Roberts is there, looking for whatever the people used to look for back in those days. And it was just the three of them, and they're fucking wound up. And then Belzer says, "Do that impression of him that you do," and he did it into a staring, like, Eric Roberts not getting it at all.
Oh, my God. That's so crazy.
I know. Rhodes told me the story. I ran down the street. I didn't even hear the end of it. I was just thinking, what if it was me?
Oh, God,
And he
that's so
said that
uncomfortable.
he said Eric Roberts just didn't like it.
Didn't even get it. Like, what are you fucking doing? He was going, Mike, up, Charlie. And the guy is just staring at it. But does anyone else feel like, oh, you're doing a great impression of me?
Yeah, they can't. But also, you actually can't do that impression too over the top. Like, there's no way to go over what he actually did.
I agree.
Like,
that's weird. That
The
he
thing
didn't
is, everybody quotes Eric Roberts, but Mickey Rourke was fucking unbelievable.
and so beautiful.
He's always unbelievable.
So beautiful in that movie.
Yeah.
Like, young
Yeah.
Mickey Rourke, there's nothing better than that.
He's still, I mean, I just saw a great Mickey Rourke movie. It was him and Sarah Silverman. And I can't remember the name of the goddamn movie, though.
Oh,
But
was this a newer movie?
Yeah, it came out like 2 years ago. But it's on Netflix. But it's about how it's a comedy, more or less. But it's about how he's the new neighbor. He moves in next door to this kid who lives with his mom, single mom, played by Sarah Silverman. And the kid starts like kind of trying to befriend Mickey Rourke, and then you find out that Mickey Rourke's actually this hitman that's retired, and then it kind of just goes from there. But it's funny, and it's a great.
He's very
movie.
believable as a retired hitman.
Yeah. I wish I could remember the name of it. But I saw, speaking of Pope of Greenwich Village, Burt Young, who's great in that movie.
Unbelievable.
I was watching that movie, and I was like, "What the fuck is Burt Young doing?" And I Googled him. I found out he was in a play called The Last Vig that was opening not 10 minutes from my apartment in L.A. a month later. So that night I was out with my buddies drinking, and I go, who wants to go see Burt Young on opening night in this new play? Where everybody's like, I'm fucking in. So I buy the tickets. We go out. This was the worst fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Burt Young couldn't remember his lines to the point. At one point, he picked up a script off a desk.
Yeah.
And read off of it. He had an earpiece in, so you'd hear him forgetting the line, and then you could tell like somebody was feeding it to him, and he'd go, what made you go to the park? And he was trying to do all this, like, you know, he's trying to, like, Brando his way through it. It's not fucking what we left at intermission, dude. It was fucking brutal. I don't mean to shit on the guy, but
now you have a story though.
Yeah,
That's the beauty of it.
yeah, that's all you got.
I saw.
Now you know what he's up to.
Yeah,
I saw Burt. Remember when he was doing The Sopranos for a little while?
Yeah.
So I get out of the fucking subway, and this is back like 2002 or something like that, right? And I'm on Lexington Avenue, and fucking he's just on the street there, right? So I see him, and I stop myself from saying Paulie, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I grew up loving that fucking shit.
Yeah.
So I go, hey, Bert, great job on The Sopranos. That's what I said to him. And then he comes over to me and he's like, and he has my neck. And he's like, pretty fucking strong. I'm like, oh, this old guy's got to go. He's like, I didn't know a fucking word that he said. He's growling and squeezing my neck like I'm a nephew. You know what I mean? Like a 8-year-old nephew.
He's a weird, yeah, we went into a Mexican restaurant next to the theater before the show.
Yeah.
To eat, and he was in there eating with, I guess it was his daughter or something.
Yeah.
And he was in there eating, and people are saying hi to him and stuff, and we're all kind of like, that's fucking Bert, you know what I mean? And then he leaves. We watch the first act. We're like, this is terrible. We got to go. And then we're also being like, well, no shit. He was eating a fucking chimichanga.
Yeah, right. Of
6
course.
minutes before he went on stage.
Who eats a big meal, Mexican meal?
And then when we were leaving, it was a very small theater. You had to literally walk across the stage to get out.
Oh, Jesus.
And we get out, we had to wait because they had to bring him off stage first. And we're behind him leaving the theater, and he's leaving the theater. We're like, what the fuck? Then we see they bring him back to the Mexican restaurants. That's his green room.
Oh,
There is no
Jesus.
green room. Like, it's just like he has to just go sit at that Mexican restaurant during intermission. Ugh.
Finish his food. There's just a plate, half eaten. It was pretty good, huh? We're doing a good play. Oh.
It's tough stuff. 'Cause he's so good as particularly Paulie.
It's unbelievable.
I mean,
You busted it! You busted! He fucking screams at his fucking sister. You're busted.
it's so good. It's so good. You know that guy. When you
Yeah.
watch that, you're like, especially being from Philly, you're like, I know that fucking guy, man. That guy's in my family.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I always say that the first Rocky is like one of the best. I mean, it's real. After that, they get sillier and sillier and sillier, and they make up things. But that first thing of a guy from the neighborhood who just wants to be standing at the end of a fight. You know what I
Right.
mean, that's it.
Yeah, it's
That's
a
all
perfect
he wants.
Premise.
He doesn't want anything more than for people to see that he's not a bum. It's fucking heartbreaking. It's amazing.
It's a great flick, and it's in my opinion the most lovable movie character of all time. Like, it's very like he's like when I see Chewbacca, I want to like hug Chewbacca because he looks like a big dog. Like, I feel like that with Rocky. Not that he looks like a dog, but like, you just like, I get sad that the guy's not, like, when I see Stallone in an interview and he's not Rocky, I'm like, God damn it. When I watch Rambo and he's not Rocky, I'm like, come on, man.
Be Rocky.
You know, I just love that character, man.
I like that idea that just like instantly lovable movie characters that you're just like, you just love the hell out of them. Like,
I remember when they did that fucking movie. All right, they used the exterior of a house, and then he walks into a house, right? And then a lady fucking went on TV because they used the exterior of her house, and she's like, I don't know what they're doing. This is a nice house. And she makes them come in to see her row house. She goes, I have no idea what they're talking. The very nice house here, you know? And that's such a Philly thing.
I know.
She sees the movie and all she could think of is, where the fuck is my house in there?
Yeah.
You know, because that
People
place
gonna
is so
think-
shitty.
Right.
Yeah.
People are gonna think that's my house.
But it's a great movie. It's just great.
I like the only one I don't like is 4. 4 is the one that I don't. And people, I say they love 4. I don't think anybody likes 4 non-ironically.
Is 4 the one that's just a series of montage?
Yeah, Drago,
Yeah,
the Russian.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the Russian one.
It just goes from montage to montage. It's
They
so
never
ridiculous.
They never play the theme music in it. They don't play the Rocky music in the entire movie. You know, it's the one where Creed dies, which is just them trying to one up Mickey dying.
Yeah.
It's just none of it's believable. It's just ridiculous. It was so Cold War fucking whatever. But I actually like 6 quite a bit, the last one.
The one that he just did?
Yeah. I thought that one was good. And there's a great scene they cut. If you watch the deleted scenes in the DVDs, I don't know why they cut it, but it's the first thing you see in the movie is him waking up, like, and it's his like daily routine. And they cut a scene of him in the kitchen drinking the eggs, and then he fucking pukes it up. He can't do it anymore. And I was like, that's fucking great. Why would you cut that out?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But anyway, I like that movie.
I liked it too.
Yeah.
To me, you do Rocky 1. The fact that the second one he goes on to win, it doesn't make sense. It takes away the entire thing of, no, he caught the champ on a good day for him, bad day. The champ wasn't ready. He should have, he didn't fucking train for this. And this guy came out and he could take a punch and you couldn't knock him down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was basically Mike Vecchione. At this point, Mike Vecchione with comedy just keeps going until they put him on the Tonight Show. And that's what Rocky was. Now, the thing is, this would be like if Godfather 2, if Michael Corleone would have been, I don't know, elected to the Senate or fucking,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it just out of, this guy was going to have one day.
But see, I buy it. I don't like 2 that much.
Yeah.
2's my second to least favorite, which I know some people would say is sacrilege, but I buy the story arc. I like that it goes from the guy who, like you said, it's heartbreaking. He just wants to be standing. Second one, he's like, these people think I'm a dope. Now I want to win for real. So it's the classic thing of like, dude, you're allowed to aim higher if you want.
Yeah.
So he does. And then I like the twist in the third one that Mickey dies and he's like, I got nothing, I'm done. And then Apollo comes to him and he's like, I'm going to fucking train you now. I thought that was a nice,
I think that's very comic
movie
book.
arc.
I think it's very comic book.
Well,
I really
yeah, it certainly is it's big.
Yeah. Because if you look of who, like, it was based on, kind of the Bayonne Bleeder who got a chance to fight Ali, that guy was a bum. He was a fucking bum. He just was a guy that could take a punch. He would just bleed and bleed, and they would pay him at the end of the night. Those guys exist in boxing. It's a terrible. I mean, before we had UFC, we used to think it was barbaric if you were a boxer. Now we know it gets even worse. You know, now we know. People would still like gladiators. You know?
Yeah, I'm not a huge UFC guy. I don't have anything against it, but it's just not my thing.
You, Chris, I know you kind of watch, right?
I watch, like, if this is a big card, but I don't know shit about it. Like, I would watch the McGregor fights.
Are you going to watch McGregor
Yeah,
get beat up?
Mayweather. Yeah, I'm going to watch McGregor get the shit kicked out.
What are they charging for that?
I don't know if they've announced yet. I think the whatever was first announced between 150 and 120.
And when is it?
That's the wrong direction, by the way, when you're doing pricing. You start at the bottom and work your way.
It was August 26th.
And who's fighting?
Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather.
No, Floyd.
Boxing?
Boxing.
Yeah, they're going to box.
I didn't even know boxing still happened. I thought it was.
Well,
I
these
haven't
guys
seen a
gonna,
boxing
like-
match in forever.
Yeah, well, this weekend is Pacquiao, right? You going to watch that one?
Yeah, I'll probably watch it, yeah. And then, like, 2 weeks after the Mayweather fights, Triple G versus Canelo, which is actually going to be a
That's
good
on
fight.
Saturday, the Pacquiao one.
Pacquiao's, yeah, it's always Saturday, yeah.
Isn't it so fucking weird that when I was a kid, there were 4 sports: basketball, football. Well, 5 sports: basketball, football, baseball, hockey, boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking boxing and hockey are so off the fucking radar at this point. Like, that is crazy to me.
Hockey, I can't even find on TV. I think it's on the Camping Network.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah, like what happened? What happened? It was this goddamn sport we watched.
It was a sport. And some people still do, but the same amount of people who go to see hockey live are the same people who watch on TV.
Right.
It's just not.
You're a fanatic,
Yes.
but there's no like.
There's no
check out
casual
hockey.
fan.
Yeah.
Like, you don't follow if you're just a casual fan. Boxing in the 80s, the middleweights, the Sugar Ray Leonards, the Roberto Durants, that was probably a peak of that sport. Some of the greatest pound for pound boxers of all time. And then you had Mike Tyson come in that lit up the sport.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Tyson was a global phenomenon.
Yes.
And it's like, I I couldn't name you 3 boxers right now. I mean, I could because you just said 3 names.
Yeah.
And I've heard of those guys, but like, it's not like it was. And it wasn't just Evander Holyfield was huge.
Yeah.
Buster Douglas was famous just because he was the guy that knocked Mike Tyson down.
Right.
You know, Hector Camacho. Remember all those guys?
Oh yeah, Hector Camacho used to come in like a lunatic. Remember, he was.
Yeah.
But there was something. I think maybe the pay-per-view killed it, but it doesn't seem to be killing the
UFC.
at all,
Yeah,
right?
they're doing well with pay-per-view sales. Yeah.
Chris, right now you look like you got the world's highest flat top. Like it's a flat top and curly. It looks great. Get a picture of yourself.
I think MMA
Killed it.
in general just killed it.
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh, there's this whole other thing you can do with physical contact, and it is going to be way more brutal and way more complicated."
Mhm.
Not to take anything away from a boxer, because I would have no idea what to do. But I think the idea of mixed martial arts, how you could actually hone your own style by blending different crafts
Yeah.
and whatever. I think that,
And the fact that the action happens right away. There's not, a great deal of dancing or whatever.
Well, there's no fanfare, and then also too, I mean, it's not a coincidence that video games like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter 2 and all those games were huge,
Yeah.
and then they were like, here it is in real life,
Yeah.
you know.
Who's your guy in UFC?
I mean,
Hulk Hogan. Still
I
like
guess I
Hogan?
like Conor McGregor. I mean,
He's your guy.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I liked watching his.
Do you think there's any chance he can win?
No, there's no way. Mayweather's fucking gonna let him fuck up.
What's he normally get for a fight? This guy though.
I think like $500,000. I think.
How much?
$500,000.
A fight?
I think. Yeah.
And then he's going to get $100 million for this other one.
Yeah, he's getting.
Yeah, he should go get beat up for that money.
Who wouldn't?
Ask me who my guy is,
Who's your
so I
guy?
can do a bit. Ready?
Yeah.
So you guys say UFC though.
So who's your guy in UFC right now?
I really like Professor Chapman a lot. He teaches social. I thought they say USC. Sorry.
That'd be great. USC this weekend. It's the film school.
I'm gonna do that from now on.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were talking about USC. Sorry.
Joe DeRosa is in studio. His podcast, Emotional Hangs with Kurt Braunohler, is available on iTunes and on feralaudio.com, on Twitter at Joe DeRosa Comedy.
Now, I also saw you the other night. It looked like you and Anthony Cumia had a nice moment. Is it all settled now?
Yes. Yeah, that's been
nice.
settled for a while. About 2 years ago, we talked, and we had a very, open, heart-to-heart, mutually apologetic thing where we were just like, what are we doing, man? What the fuck? And we squashed it, and he was like, hey, man, he's like, I'm glad we did this. And I was like, dude, me too, man. We're friends, dude. What the fuck, right? So it took us a while to get a show on the books, but we finally did. And so I knew I was going into the show on Wednesday. I've seen him since.
Right.
That wasn't the first time I saw him was at the roast. I saw him for the first, I stopped by the studio one time when I was in town. We just talked for a little while, just as a nice, just kind of like, good to see you. And then after the Patrice benefit, he and I sat in the back of the stand and had like 12 whiskey cokes together. And we were laughing our balls off, and we were just like, dude, this is great. So then then I saw about the roast, and then yesterday I went on the show and did, sat
How was it?
2
Does
hours.
it feel like old times?
Yeah, it was great.
Isn't
It
that
was
funny?
great.
How
It
that
was
can
great.
happen? When funny people get together, you can just do it.
Yeah, it was nice, man. It was nice, and it was nice that so many of his fans were writing to me and saying nice things, and I appreciated the whole thing. It felt very healthy. It felt like a good positive thing to do, which I don't do a lot of positive things. I'm a kind of
you're not known as being an extra positive guy.
I mean, you got that media file thing going for you.
Yeah,
That's
but
pretty good.
you came in here and you cost me 15 prizes because you told me nobody could stump you.
I never said that. How many did you end up giving away?
I don't know what we did. You know what? It's all good, Joe. Let's just say one.
What did it
So you
mean?
feel bad.
What did it mean when we were playing and you said we're still at 500? What did that?
Well, I was still doing a baseball statistic.
Oh,
So, you 1 for 2, you're 500. You 1 for 3, you're 333. You never played baseball when you were younger.
No, I never played anything.
Never played a sport.
I played soccer in first grade, and I quit halfway through the season. And then the next year, I told my dad I wanted to play Little League, and he goes, You're not going to like it.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, you're right. I don't want to do that. And that was it. I ran a little track.
Well, you know, with
And that was
soccer,
it.
when you're a little kid, you can just start getting out there and kicking at the ball.
Yeah.
But baseball, you got to commit to playing that game a lot before you can. To catch a ball off a bat when you're a little kid, it takes a couple years.
I fucking hated soccer because you were out there. It was fucking cold. The ground was hard.
Yeah.
It was a lot of running.
so much running.
I hated it. I fucking hated it, man.
Yeah.
So I was never a sports guy. That's why I'm so into music and everything, because I wasn't good at sports. So I was like, why play? I mean, I would join the teams. I was on the basketball team. I never played.
Right.
My dad was the coach. I never played. That's not a joke.
Right.
It's true. I never played. I was terrible. So, and he wasn't an asshole. He was just like, what are you going to do?
You know, right, dude? We're trying to win a game, and I don't want all the other kids to hate you.
Yeah,
You know, I don't want you to go out there chucking bricks, and you can't pull this off. But music, you were a hip hop kid, right? Growing up,
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah.
I still am.
and you're also like a horror film nut, right? Not just all film.
Yeah. Mainly, I like horror better than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I have a horror movie podcast as well, and called "We'll See You in Hell," where we review horror movies. My friend Patrick Walsh and I love horror. I've been writing short horror fiction for a while now, and trying to sell a book.
What is it about horror for you? Because I don't like to feel scared. I don't like
I do
feeling scared. Why?
It's the last genuine escape for me. You know, it's the last thing I can do where I feel like a kid that doesn't involve, having one too many drinks and acting kind of stupid or smoking pot or something like that.
But it takes you back to this. The feeling is the same thing you felt as a little kid.
Well, I mean, think about it. The older you get, the harder and harder it is to get excited.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I mean, when I was a kid and I got a Nintendo, it made my life. I just bought this fucking thing and
You feel nothing. You're dead inside.
I don't appreciate it.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, so like when you get scared, it's like, it's very hard to get that sort of Christmas feeling in your stomach, or and I'm not saying that's what feeling scared is like for me. I'm just saying it takes you back, but it's very hard for me to get scared at this point because I've seen so much horror.
All I need is something to jump out on the screen, and I'll do an involuntary yell.
That's different. That's startled.
Yes.
See, that's not scared, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
Scared is when your body, it's lingering, it's creeping. It's there, and you're just like last night. I was trying to I go to sleep to horror books a lot, audio books, and I pick a lot of Stephen King ones. And last night I was trying to go to sleep to Dr. Sleep. Have you guys read that book? No. All right, so Dr. Sleep. You've seen The Shining, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Sleep is a sequel to The Shining, and the first chapter in the book is about Danny Torrance and his mom now living in a cramped one-bedroom apartment in Florida. And the opening of the book is she calls the guy played by is it
Scatman Crothers?
Yeah. Scatman Crothers in the movie and says, I need you to come here. And he's like, why? And she said, because Danny told me not to go into the bathroom last night.
Jesus.
And
I'm already scared.
then it,
I'm scared.
I'm already scared.
Then,
I'm scared though.
then it goes back and describes what he saw.
Yeah.
And he went into the bathroom in the apartment and he sees the witch that Nichols, remember the scene with Nichols?
Sure.
She's in there and it's just a description of her in that fucking haunting him in that bath. And it's like, I shut it off. I was like, this is like, because that genuinely is the scariest thing I've ever heard or read. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to sleep. I'm freaked out. I'm in a friend's apartment. I don't know where I am right now.
Yeah.
Like, so, but,
Yes.
But that's scared to me. That's like,
Yes,
I
I
can't
can feel
sleep
that way.
because this is going to last.
That's what happened. That's why I'm not a fan of horror, is because I'm susceptible to it.
Yeah.
Like I can fucking feel it, I'm like, why do I want that?
What scares you?
The fact that I probably believe that the universe is not as safe as I allow myself to believe. The bad shit does happen.
Well, what kind? Sorry.
I don't want I can't watch anything where something happens to kids. I can't watch anything where we can't find the kid. The kid is sucked into a hole. They've taken the kid away. The kid's down in a fucking basement. it fucking stays with me.
So like something about like an honest like serial killer would freak you out.
A true story, yes. If I have to read a true thing, just knowing that somebody out there does shit like that.
But do you get freaked by paranormal stuff too? Or less so?
I would probably believe less so unless it was great writing. I'm going to stay away from fucking Stephen King. I don't want no part of that.
I'm the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Slasher shit, all day long. When it doesn't, in fact, I don't like watching some of it because I'm just like, this is just like watching the news. It's just making me sad.
Yeah.
But supernatural stuff really fucking.
Yeah.
The unknown is what scares me. And when my mom and dad were visiting, we went to Hollywood Horror Nights at Universal Studios.
Mm-hmm.
And they just set up, 6 to 10 haunted houses at Universal Studios that are all modeled after movies. So they have The Exorcist, and they make it look like the fucking house in The Exorcist.
I'm not going to do it.
And you walk through it. I brought my mom. My mom went in all of them with me. She was in a wheelchair. She was scared shitless, the two of us. But there was a lot of like walking down long black hallways in those. That's what fucking scares me.
Yeah.
That kind of shit, where something might touch your leg or something. But, some guy waving a knife around. Yeah.
Look, we only got 30 seconds, and I'll just say this. When I was a kid, we were in the horror house in Wildwood, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And I was tripping with my friends and got in one of those long hallways and couldn't tell the difference between the past and future and who I was. And then they would hire kids to jump out at you.
Right.
And I was with Don Vito, who's Bam Margera's.
Yeah.
And I came around the corner, and Bam had two fucking devils. I mean, Don Vito had two fucking devils trying to smash their fucking heads together. These are real kids screaming.
Oh my God,
and they're
'cause
hitting
he's
back.
freaking out.
And he's like, these motherfuckers are taking kids under the... He yelled out, these motherfuckers are taking kids under the boardwalk. He said they were grabbing kids and taking them under the boardwalk. And he was just beating up two of them. I've never been so freaked. All right, that's it for us. We gotta go. You're the best, Joe. So great to see you, pal.
Great to see you, buddy. I love you guys. Thank you.
All right, and we'll see you all again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!